Hello and welcome back to Task 4 of SRS Skywalk Edition. I'm your host Aninder Singh and you are joining me live and exclusive on Paragliding Live for day of another task where yesterday we were not able to complete the task 4. So in case you're wondering why the title of the video says task 4 once again, that is because we had a cancellation due to weather reasons yesterday, and today you are joining us for a task of around 65 kilometers in the second edition of sports racing series brought to you by Skywalk Paragliders, happening right here in the town of Bassano del Grappa in the Italian Dolomites. Behind you, you see the screen of the task setting, and if I'm supposed to explain a little bit about the task setting to you with a little bit of an introduction, we have 65 kilometers of cross-country adventure in front of us, with the task happening over the skies of Bassano. But the difference over here is, even though the task looks pretty similar to what it was yesterday, today we are starting the task with a southwest direction towards the westward side of the town of Bassano. This is a bit different from every other task that we have noticed so far, because usually organizers have made it a point to head east towards the first to have that as the first turn point. But in case you are able to see, and I'm going to zoom into my screen a little bit to show you guys a bit more, this exactly is the start point here, and the key to understand over here is that the mountain regions over here are not the highest ones. They are having an average elevation of somewhere around 500 to 800 meters. So we are deliberately staying away from big mountain area that is available on the back side of this. And in case you're seeing, there's a furry friend as a companion in the commentary box today. But we'll be sure to bringing you live and exclusive action courtesy of Paragliding Live for the task 4 of SRS Skywalk Edition. So right now, if I'm supposed to tell you, the task is heading to the big peak of Monte Grappa later on as the second leg, which also happens to be one of the longest legs. But we will be sure to bring you more details on that. And for now, let's go for live uninterrupted action to my colleague Jelle Johansson, who joins us from the takeoff with all the updates from the briefing itself. And I'm going to ask my producer to switch over the camera to my colleague Jelle Johansson. So stay tuned, stay excited, because this race can be followed in multiple places, especially SRS.live and paraglidinglive.com as well. So 65 kilometers of racing incoming for task 4 once again, where we are joining you with all the exclusive and racing action from the gaggle. So for now, let's switch over for the briefing happening at the takeoff.
Oh my god, we're getting live, aren't we? Alright, so
the deadline is at 18
that
and
one
the
is
start
6
will
o'clock.
open at 13:15.
Oh, 13:15 again, so let's go. Hello everybody, I need to be a little bit silent
So once
because,
again,
as
the
you
window
saw,
will open at 12,
we are
the
live
start is
at
at
the task briefing.
13:15 and the deadline is at
Let's listen a little bit
1800.
in on the
Early
guys,
takeoff
and
are
I'll try
allowed.
to
Yeah.
give little comments and infos in between.
No, please.
It's a
Go
six.
to land. Yeah, I know.
That's fine.
I know.
It's a 65
If,
kilometers task, so
the task is stopped, you
middle length,
are
I would
meant
say.
to be on the ground and reported, let's
There's
say,
some
half an
weather
hour maximum.
issues that are we need to keep an eye on. But all in all, looks like another good day to do
I
this
hope
race.
nobody will do it again. But I don't. Okay. Anyway, it depends on several features. Remember, after let's say 1 hour of stopping the task, we close
Diego?
everything.
Diego's there.
You're not more survived
Diego.
with the ambulance released. The airspace is cleared, so you are flying alone, but you are still having the tracker with you, and this link the people to the HQ till you are back. So that's why
So
we prefer.
we have the race start in the air at 1 o'clock 15
Essentially,
minutes.
is to have back the tracker.
The takeoff, I think, is open also pretty soon.
Yeah, it's not a strict rule because
Actually, it
it's
is a
generic
strict rule.
unsporting behavior is evaluated case by case. There is not a strict rule.
And as always, we have some
It is a strict
questions
rule of the
to
SRS local regulations say when the task is
to clear
over,
up here in the
not to go
between
for the
pilots and meet
task
director.
ends, the task is over.
Some
I
heated
know,
discussions.
But that's why we're just giving the warning today.
Okay, anyway, task stopped means task over and go.
So, hello everybody, my name is Jelle Johansen. We're live at the briefing of the SRS Bassano
Are there
for
questions?
task 5 today.
Okay, enjoy the day, see you at
And here we go already. I'm gonna try to catch Fatima for a quick interview with her because I just heard today what a crazy way and challenges she had to come over here.
the queue.
So,
Not enter random
Helena?
the launch line.
Fatima, is he here?
5 spots,
Fatima?
but leave them clear
Fatima,
and clear
sorry.
while to spread the glider and start the process. So,
Oh yeah, we love fancy sunglasses.
29, that's her.
Okay, so I try to get you guys over here, but in the end, what did we learn? What did we learn? It's a quite local task. It's not very far. We have some zigzags as well. Probably Ananda will tell you later even more in detail because then he can show it with a map. You get the microphone, thank you. And I'm gonna try and catch this lady over there because her challenges to overcome to get here to make this race were incredible. I just heard it today and I really have to talk to her. Fatima, do you have a moment now? Nice. We wait over here for you. Okay. We are having today a new setup for the tech guys who are interested. We're right now live here with the Starlink. And it's the first day we have 2 Starlinks to give you the live feed of the briefing that you just saw. All the pilots are already getting up now up the mountain. It's a hard and shitty walk up there, let's be honest. But you do it. What did you say?
It's a very shitty walk up.
It's a very shitty walk up. But we do it. We love that sport and we do some sacrifices, I guess. So, the weather looks good. I mean, we almost... Come in here, come on, don't stand like that. Come on, sit with me, come on. We had you yesterday, now we have you again, why not? He was like smooching in, he was like, oh, what's going on? So, what do you think about the weather?
Oh, today? Yeah. Bit scared about the wind, but as we have...
Why?
Yeah, not scared in terms of like safety, but just to arrive and go fast.
With
maybe an issue.
With tailwind in the best cases.
Yeah, tailwind would be nice. Strong
And
tailwind.
How strong is the wind today when we have to keep an eye on that?
Yeah, not too strong, like I guess
What are the
not more than
numbers?
10 knots. So
10 knots,
Yeah.
which is more or less like 20k,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, less I think.
Okay,
less.
so a
Should
20k
be
wind
less,
is normally
but
the strength when paragliding school says, okay, we should stop now to fly with our students. So we are pros, we fly with that stuff, we use it and utilize it, and today we have that.
Yeah, but not. I think it's not that strong, but still going against the wind in the flats is quite hard.
and we don't have the CCC wings, which are like high performance.
Yeah.
They're good into the wind, but we are a little bit less into the wind.
Yeah.
Let's see if the pros can do the switch, because they are used to their wings, and maybe we can catch up with our knowledge of how to fly the sport class wings. Well, last words just for today's race. What is your mindset? What do you want to get done today?
Normally my thermaling is not the best, so I will try to keep
That one.
pace by not losing height compared to the others in the air,
Alright.
and then stick to the leaders.
So I hope you get some good dolphining today.
Yeah.
Like,
Fingers
just going
crossed.
forward with a little bit of break. Thank you so much.
Sure.
See you around. See you in go. Fatima. Yeah, please. Maybe some guys saw the story you posted on Instagram. That was our first meeting. It was lovely. She was like filming, and we kind of dropped in. We were like, "Hey, I'm those guys," and we were like, "And you? And who are you?" But awesome.
Yeah.
It was really great meeting you that way. But like, who are you, and what do you do here, and how did you got here?
Yeah, my name is Fatima, by the way, and I'm a pilot from Iran. I've been flying for 20 years. so
20
far.
years.
Yeah,
Damn.
20 years. Yeah, I started when I was 18.
Wow.
And now you know my age.
Damn. You don't look it.
Okay, I'm old, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what?
Yeah.
Young and hard is what counts. Come on.
Yeah, I'm 38 now, and yeah, since I was 18, I just started paragliding. And now I'm also an instructor, mostly focused on skyliding. You know, our school is mostly
Sky leading.
I mean, it's like
XC
cross country, yeah.
guiding,
Yeah,
coaching.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And you know, in our area, like it's amazing for flying
Yeah.
long distances, and we have cloud base for 7,000 meter altitude.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, we have a lot of XC tours, and yeah, I am also. My husband, my friend Mohammed, who used to be my instructor.
Yeah, we need to talk to him later, I think.
Yeah, he is one of the best pilots in Iran. By
Yeah.
the way, yeah, our team is like active in. Also, we are distributor of Skywalk.
Oh, you don't say so.
Yeah,
I
and-
wasn't able to see that.
Yeah, and also advanced
Also.
gliders and dudek paragliders if you are into paramotor.
All right.
Yeah, and also we do Neo, which is
Okay.
a special
Yeah.
things, kind of not for everyone in Iran, but we also have lots of good friends in Neo. So yeah, we are active in importing stuff to the country, and you know, it's like a big community of pilots back there in Iran. Maybe you don't know,
Yeah.
but I assume it's like a huge community.
Yeah.
And it's a good market, by the way, for this.
Because it's like growing right now, pretty good. And
basically it's not
not
growing
good,
at the
no?
moment.
Okay.
We've been growing for years,
Yeah.
but since 2 years, you know, the stable. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not stable. Everything.
Yeah.
Economy is not good
Yeah.
that much. So yeah, I cannot say that this is growing at the
Yeah.
moment. But we are one of the best, and we have best pilots in Asia, maybe some of the best and famous ones who participate in competitions. In XC, in acro, we have good pilots. We already have good events for acro.
So you have all the good ingredients in the pipeline, and we just need some more stabilization in the region, and then we come by, we do
sure.
the competitions with you, come
Yeah.
over there.
You know, Iran is a big country,
Yeah,
like
true.
with very variety of the nature.
Yeah.
With coastlines, and we have high mountains, we have deserts, sand dunes. So whatever you want to do, like
Yeah.
every game we can play back there at home. You can, go ski. In the same day, with a 1 hour flight to the south, you can go and swim in 40 degrees.
Shit.
So it's a 4-season country,
Fuck.
and it's huge. So
Yeah.
I think
Lots of
that's
variety.
just stable things, stopping the war or all of these things. That we have a lot of problem because of the sanctions, and Iranians are under pressure economically, or even for traveling, you know, it's not easy for us to get visa.
There we get on that. I mean,
Yeah.
how did you manage to come here? I heard that it was quite an adventure, and you wouldn't be here without the support of Skywalk, because you got the gear like
Yeah.
rented or lent by them. Tell us the story. When did you start this journey? How
the
was
thing
it?
is that for me it's also not that much difficult because I already had visa.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, my husband couldn't get visa for 2 years now. So I'm traveling to Europe without him for 2 years at the moment. And it's like really not nice,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
fucked
when
up.
the procedure of getting visa is getting more and more difficult. But yeah, I was lucky, I already had visa. Since the war started, I was not thinking that I could be, or I even had the mood to be, you know, you need your mindset to want
Yeah, of
to
course,
go
to
to an
go,
event when
yeah.
the thing is not that much good in
Yeah.
the country. But since ceasefire started, Mohammed and I was thinking that should we go maybe to SRS, and we already had registration, but yeah, it was also lots of problems, like not easy to carry everything out because we wanted to go by border to Armenia, and then
But like, I heard you went on foot over the border?
yeah, the thing is that since the war started, it was not that much flights going to or
Yeah.
from Iran.
Yeah.
Some airlines, I mean, Iranian airlines start to have at the moment, but it's like maybe 2 or 3 flights every day, and like in a limit. I mean, it's limit. You cannot just decide and book and
Yeah.
have a place in it. So yeah, our plan was to, okay, if we couldn't get
Flight.
fly out, this is also possible to go to the border and then just pass to Turkey or Armenia.
But
and
why
then-
by foot? Why not by car?
Yeah, basically it's by car, but then I don't want to take my car to the other side.
Okay.
I don't.
So you walk
because-
over there and get a taxi?
Yeah, so,
and
yeah.
then-
It's like if you don't want to travel with your own car,
Yeah.
you really pass the border by foot, because
Okay.
you till the border you get a taxi or your
Yeah.
car, and then you park, and then you have to carry all the things. And for example, in Armenian border, it's like a long way, like a 1K you have to walk.
Damn. Yeah,
In
that's what
Turkey, it's
my-
like smaller, but
I saw you guys like carrying all the comp gear and everything
so
on the bags.
that was the reason.
somewhere in the desert, you know, like with minefields
no, no,
around.
no,
I don't know.
Not really like that, but anyway, it's we decided to not
Still, yeah.
carry paragliding stuff
Yeah.
with us.
So how did you manage to still show up here and have competition
Yeah,
stuff?
without the stuff. Yeah, the thing
Like-
is that anyway we traveled to Armenia,
Yeah.
and then from Armenia to Athena, because
Mm-hmm.
for my visa I preferred to go to.
Mm-hmm.
It was from Greece.
Okay.
Athena to Munich.
Okay.
Munich to Markenstein, which is south of.
Like a zigzag like that,
yeah,
you know,
big
like
zigzag. Yeah, 3 days on the way. Yeah, and then it's just okay. Yeah, to Markenstein, which is a Skywalk base, and there they got us wings.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
I'm flying a Mint.
All right.
Mohammed, my friend, flying a Sage, which is
All
light
right, the
version
light
of the
version,
Mint. Yeah, and then okay, so we
The
also
harness?
need.
What
Yeah, with the
harness is?
harness, one of my friends, Rafael, had a friend in a flight school near Ashau,
And she has a competition harness.
and yeah, this flight school was too nice, and they kind of rent or borrow me this Impress,
An
which is,
Impress.
and
Very
I
nice,
asked
very
for
good,
an
yeah.
Impress because I'm flying an
Yeah,
Impress,
it's a
so
good one.
I wanted to have my own.
Yeah.
So they were too nice. They
And
gave
the
me
right
Impress.
size and
Right size they had,
Wow.
fortunately.
the
And
fuck?
but for everything else, I mean, the helmet, the reserve I bought reserve from Skywalk. So I mean, every pieces. I mean, you just put your stuff inside your bag and travel. But I got
You
here
did, like-
and I was just picking stuff. Yeah, trying different
This is
helmets
crazy.
from friends, and one helmet I found
This is
that was
crazy.
fitting me. But yeah, we end up being here, and it was amazing. And I'm happy that I decided it was not an easy journey,
Yeah.
but we end up getting to it. And you know, because like for paraglider pilots, the most important thing is to be free.
Yeah, totally.
And I felt like I'm in a prison for, I mean, emotionally,
Yeah.
because it was not that much possible
Yeah.
to fly back there at home.
And suddenly, like, you get the freedom of crossing the borders to make it, to get the gear, and now you get the freedom of being in the air and flying a competition
And
that
it happened with
hopefully
the
you
help
love.
of my friends. You know,
Yeah,
I have the best
you have all the
friends ever.
support like that. Oh, That
Skywalk
must be
support, Brett from
Wow.
SRS. They managed
Yeah.
for our final, last minute Mohammed
Yeah.
registration,
Yeah.
and for the gear,
Yeah.
like my friends did.
Wow.
Everyone
Like
was
destiny made it
a group
possible. Come
and then
on.
one friend, Rafal, my friend, told me, "Okay, I accept you to win, but yeah, I'm winning.
Try.
Winning means for me that I'm enjoying my
Yeah.
time here
Yeah.
and have the
Nice.
opportunity to
Yeah.
be here."
Totally.
And I wanted to tell everyone else that be thankful,
Yeah.
because life is like this, and you should find a reason to celebrate life,
Yeah.
which is Iranian are perfect in it,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we have to be thankful. I mean, we are living a privilege right now, having this view, this sport, this event to do.
For sure.
So many cool people to help out, to be around. It's awesome.
Yes.
And yeah, I think we have to. I don't want to break you here,
Yeah.
but like, thank you so much for the insight.
Thank you for the interview. Thank you
let's-
for all the nice things that you are doing for the sport.
Thank you.
Because as I told you last time, paraglider pilots need to be seen,
Yeah.
and this is what you are doing.
Yeah.
And you are doing it damn good. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're hustling for life. See you in
Thank you.
goal. Have a
See
good
you.
race.
See you. Have
Go
fun.
get it.
Bye-bye.
That note, maybe I just scoop in. Ruth, please come over here just for 2 minutes. Please. Oh, we have a legend walking by, not having the time to talk with us. Okay, I hope we have later a little moment for that. So just like what we're trying here is to professionalize the sport, also in the view of coverage, of sponsors, of viewers, and that's you. And we want to grow it so that the athletes who are like giving their life for this sport, giving their whole identity into it, they also get some back for it. So we can get some sponsors, get the nice coverage, and professionalize it. We want to have a broadcast that is enjoyable for not only pilots, that's interesting for pilots, but also for people who never saw paragliding, who are like, what the fuck? The guys are just having a cloth over their head and some strings attached to it, and that's everything, and they can fly for hours and for hundreds of kilometers. How is that possible? And we want to show this because it's I talked to some guy today, and we agreed. We think it should be much more interesting than golf, and there are so many people watching golf coverage, so I think this here should go off, and you guys watching right now can help us do this. On that note, Paul Takaz, do you want to give 2 notes? Yeah, let's go. Let's talk to the boss here. Come on, just a quick one, and then we're getting everybody else to take off. Paul Takaz, the legend. This
Hello,
is
people.
like this is how many SRS events did you do already?
Last season, I think all of them.
Wow, that's
Before
like
a
4,
few-
5.
Yeah, 4 or 5. This year, I think I only do this one
Yeah. Okay.
just for fun.
Yeah, just for the fun. Why is it fun?
It's a good community. There is not much pressure and aggression, and I think it's a bit safer
Yeah.
and a bit more relaxing. The lead gaggle is smaller, so yeah, there's a lots of friends here.
Yeah.
I enjoy it more now because yeah, the World Cup scene is becoming ever more serious, and people are fighting and risking too much for basically nothing.
And it's getting more aggressive in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting more serious and professional, but without the actual professionalism behind it. The athletes are professional, but the sport is not quite. You guys
Not
are
yet
doing,
there. Yeah.
you are doing important work to maybe change this.
Yeah.
I think it's quite tricky.
Mm.
I heard you saying that we want to make it interesting for the non-flying people,
Also.
but for them it's quite abstract thing we are doing. So now maybe with the hike and fly, that a lot of people walk the mountains and they can imagine more easily how it could be to just glide down instead of walking. That takes us a little bit closer to the general public.
Well, and I think also the imaginary, like having the shows showing it and the videos, and I think also on Instagram you saw a lot of a boom of those videos hopefully mostly better than just the accidents, of course. But I think the coverage is also changing a lot, the visibility
Yeah.
of the sport, and that's just happened in the last 2-3 years, I would say.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
the YouTubers growing and Instagram, whatever. So for you, the race today, the main goal is fun. I get that right?
Yeah, I missed one goal already, so
Yeah.
the competition is over for me.
Okay.
So I will just have some fun. If there is an opportunity, I will attack.
Yeah.
Today maybe it's a better day to do it. Last time I did it was not the right
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah.
And I did it out of a bit of frustration because
Yeah.
I forgot the turn point. And then
Ah. Did you have to go back?
no, not really, but because of that I didn't climb the thermal I should have.
Mm.
And then I tried to invent something different.
Okay. Getting
But
creative.
It was
yeah.
not the right moment
Yeah,
to do that.
I get that. Okay, so maybe a task win. That would be nice.
Yeah,
Plus,
well,
And the most efficient forms of free flight. Also, it is used widely in commercial aviation, but the problem in paragliding is that this kind of design comes with a possibility of deflation. Now, to give you a bit of an introduction about paragliding, it's basically we have canopies which are made out of fabric, and these are called ram air canopies. In future, we'll be sure to add on some animations to this one where we are able to explain how exactly the principle of flight and the function of the free flight works. But basically what happens is that the canopy has an opening more or less in this shape, and the air rams into it, inflates the whole system, and gives it the aerofoil design that we are needed. So elevated goal gives the peace of mind that in case there is a deflation and the air within goes out of the structure and the structure loses its integrity, it will lose some altitude before it is able to regain, and the pilot is able to put the corrective action for the glider to find its flying form again. So this is the ideology behind the aerofoil design. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go ask my producer to go back to the streaming screen that we have, so yeah, you guys are able to see where exactly the pilots are positioning themselves. And what we see is that there's not a lot of pilots that have found their way yet towards the start point, but the ones who have are almost having almost 1200 to 1500 meters above ground level. We have pilot called Nelson Carvalho. Nelson Carvalho is at an altitude of more than 1200 meters. So Nelson is one of the pilots which we will be bringing you more information about as he flies a combination of submarine and GT. He's coming in from Switzerland, I beg your pardon. Nelson Carvalho is coming in from the country of Switzerland, not too far away. One of the most amazing flying sites that we have in the sport of paragliding, because it happens to be in the thick of the European Alps, flying a combination of GTO, which happens to be one of the options that pilots are finding next to the submarine offering from the Ozone company as well. And we are also clicking and following our competitor Christian Durand. Christian Durand is also finding himself right at the edge of the takeoff at the start point right now, where he is gliding at an altitude of 1200 meters for now. Christian Durand is an Australian pilot who's flying a Photon and has been the champion of sports racing series in the year 2024. And not just a paragliding pilot, Christian Durand is a seasoned aviator. He has flown different types of aircrafts over a period of year, and I have had a chance to talk to Christian a lot of times earlier, and we'll be sure to possibly bring him in the commentary box later on as well, or find him at the goal where he often arrives with the leaders when he has his moves right. So Christian has been and what I was telling is that Christian has flown a lot of different types of wings, and he was quick to tell me that the convenience that paragliding offers compared to every other type of aircraft, and the more or less green energy that paragliding allows in helping us reduce the carbon emission, is one of the most sustainable ways of practicing the art of flight. So quite a lot of thoughts there which help you in probably understanding what exactly goes on. But if I'm supposed to zoom out a little bit, you can see that most of the pilots have figured out how to launch. We will bring you a time check very soon on what exactly is going on, but so far we have confirmation that multiple pilots are able to climb beyond 1,000-meter altitude, which tells you that this will be quite an exciting race. So if I'm supposed to take you back a little bit outside to show you how exactly the views are going, I would request my producer to put this on the big screen so that we are able to show you the current scenario that is happening, coming in live and exclusive from the Bassano del Grappa right here in the landing field of Garden Reales. In case you're wondering, this exactly is how the commentary box looks for now. That is where we are stationed, and this happens to be the landing field where most of the pilots will be making to goal today thick and fast. So I think in distance, if I'm gonna zoom in my camera a little bit, you can already see most of the clouds are forming their puffy bubbles in a way, and there is a little bit of cloud cover on the northern side of the mountains, but since there is a southern wind component that will be consistently pushing these clouds back and hopefully allowing us to complete the task in a way which is desirable. So I'm just going to zoom in and try to see if my camera captures them in the viewfinders, and as you can see, there are some very high, very tall gliders out in the open, and we are possibly able to see these gliders as the free flyers, because do not confuse them with the comp pilots who are happening where all the action is happening to the west side of the takeoff. We will see how the connectivity stays and if we are able to bring you the lead gaggle in time to come, but definitely for turn point number 1 we will see these guys joining us in different which will be happening right over this ridge. So this is the ridge where we will see a lot of ridge racing action taking place, and also at quite high altitude. So it all depends on how much thermals are giving these guys the option to stay up. I'm just going to switch over my camera because there's a very beautiful scene right in front of me where you can see a contrail of an airliner and a paraglider in the forefront. So basically this is more or less the celebration of free flight happening right here in the town of Bassano del Grappa for the SRS, which happens to be the abbreviation for Sports Racing Series. In case you're looking at my t-shirt, that is the official t-shirt for the competition. This is widely known as Racing for a New Generation, because until now racing was more or less reserved for some of the biggest comp pilots who had to more or less put in at least 300 to 400 hours and sometimes up to 500 hours as the bare minimum before they were able to fly the CCC class of wings. And I was sitting with one of the leading designers of our sport, Luke Armand, who also happens to be the spearhead of the Ozone design team. And I was talking to him that, Luke, why exactly are the biggest and the most fastest gliders so hard to fly, and why do they demand so much airtime? And his answer was fairly simple and to the point, where he mentioned that, you know, the thing with such high performance is that it always comes at the trade-off of something else, and here what we are talking about, performance versus safety trade-off. So CCC class of wings is a class of wings which are at the limit of their stability, which basically means that beyond a certain criteria, if the air mass or the pilot input changes, the airfoil design can get a bit more unstable than what it is right now. Whereas this is where the sports class series gets the lead and has been adopted so widely, because these wings are not exactly at the limit, they do have a buffer zone. So more or less, even though they have the two-liner design which was given to, which was the permission to use that in the ENC category, in the sports class, was given not that long ago, but this EN's two-liner design is not at the limit of stability. So there is a fair bit of margin which gives pilot enough time to put in the corrective action and yet give comparable performances to higher class wings, because beyond this there are only two classes that the wings are basically existing in. The one is END, which is Delta, and the other one happens to be the CCC, which was downgraded from an open class. More or less, I wouldn't call it a downgrade, it was basically that open class had multiple flaws in the ruling system which allowed designers to make whatever kind of wing possible, and humans with a competitive nature were basically going ahead and trying to make the most out of it to prove their point and become the best from the rest. Although this did not come for free, and there was a cost of a huge safety trade-off, due to which the sports class series has seen unprecedented growth in the past few years. And what I would like to also tell you is that this specific event happens to be the second one in the series of calendars, because right now we are in 2026, where the sports class series has matured over a period of time. There's quite a big pilot group that already likes to be a regular competitor in this, and so much so that the organizers have been forced to come up with a pre-qualifier event which happens to mimic the level of Paragliding World Cup, because Paragliding World Cup is another one of those events which is a highly sought after event, which sees a lot of applicants willing to join and willing to fly. Although because of limited spaces and limited capacity, organizers are only able to take so much of that. And if I want to come back to the racing action, what you can see is that majority of the gaggle is sticking more or less on a safer side, finding themselves higher above the big mountains. So almost a little over than a half an hour remaining for the start point, but majority of the gliders to the start time, but majority of the gliders sticking closer to the big thermal area, whereas a few big ones, and in case my producer has managed to put the stream online, I would like to tell you the track that you are able to see on the screens right now is basically which we will be bringing you very soon, depending upon what kind of connection we have. So in case my producer is able to switch over to the different screen, I would request them to show the track from the live tracking, where we are able to see Brett Janaway as well. But right now we have a pilot Arcadius on our screen right now. So Arcadius is fairly high above the ground level, and right now we will be able to show you the visuals that are available. Please let me have a look at YouTube. Yes, so right now what my producer has been able to give you the view, and this is the track of Brett Janaway. So if you look closely, this is more or less called scratching and searching area. So if I zoom into this one, you can see that Brett has thermaled his way up, and not in a lot of turns. He has cored the thermal, that means the thermals are fairly strong, gotten up fairly high, and then basically gone out on a search. And the pilots around him are also doing the same, where they are just going around and looking for best lifts. So what you can see is that there are small little groups forming around this area, and these groups are the ones which will decide how the house thermal looks like, because right now we don't see a lot of pilots coming together in one single place. But eventually what will happen is, as we get closer to the race task, to the start time, which is almost about 40 minutes from now, we will see a lot of pilots coming together. So I'm just going to try and track Paul Takats, which also happens to be one of the champions of the race, as I was telling you about earlier. And what we can see is that Paul Takats is currently gliding at about 1000 meters above ground level, and his track is quite similar to Brett, where once he has done taking the height part, he has gone out on a wide search area, and this all area is somewhere on the west side of the Bassano town. Now I'm going to take this opportunity to show you how exactly the topography of the town looks like. What you see behind me is a satellite map. So I'm going to request my producer to switch the screen to my feed and show you what exactly the features of this race look like so far when you are above. So most of the time, as I mentioned earlier, these are big mountains where there are enough thermal traps. So for those of you who are a bit new to the sport of paragliding, the thing that makes us go around in the air is the rising columns of hot air. In case those of you who have been joining me for the past streams, as we have been doing this for quite a few days now, since the beginning of day 1 of the SRS Skywalk Edition, we are coming to you live and exclusive on Paragliding Live and also on SRS.live. So in case you are interested in sharing this with your friends and family, please do the needful. Go ahead, tell them that this is happening, and also drop in your chat. Do let us know where you're joining us from. Multiple times we have various options of supporting us. There is an option of super thanks, there is an option of donating, because this takes a fair bit of effort, and the amount of production and the quality that is coming to you is kind of unprecedented in the sport, where it has never been done before in the history of cross country competition. So what we are bringing you is more or less like a revolutionary technology. So do your own bit, let people know, support in whatever way you can, and let's grow this sport together as a whole. But while we are doing that, there are multiple notifications that there are launches coming together, and if I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, what you can see behind me is that there are certain features in the terrain which are looking a bit like depressions or some sort of a trap, I would like to call it, in the flying terminology. So what exactly happens is that if I zoom out, what you see is that this is where most of the civilization is. This is where the flats are. This is where the construction and a lot of man-made material is. But as we grow, as we kind of scroll up, this is where the big mountains, the Dolomites, are starting to look. So what you see is these features are basically being fed by a lot of hot air, and once it gets trapped in one of these features or wherever locally, once it reaches a boiling point, so consider more or less thermals a hot blob of air mass moving around, and air mass is more or less like a fluid state. So consider it in like a fluid moves through a medium. So once this hot blob of air mass blocks itself, finds itself trapped in a certain point, then it triggers up, because hot heat always rises compared to the surrounding temperature. And what exactly we're going to see is that all of these big trigger points will be used very well throughout the race course. So that is what I wanted to tell you, is that this terrain more or less is where a lot of pilots are finding the bigger lift. That is why these pilots are sticking around. And as I mentioned, the second turn point of the race, which is a little bit towards the smaller ridge. So there is one big ridge where most of the racing action will be happening towards the first turn point, towards, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was a 16-kilometer line, due to after which they are coming down to second turn point, where there's a much smaller ridge. So it's not that the thermals won't be existing here because it's a smaller ridge, it's just that the thermals or the rising columns of hot air go a little bit down in the strength. So you have to core a bit harder and you have to concentrate a bit more than necessary. Although back from here, we again come back to the start point, where we can currently see multiple gliders trying to find out the best lifty areas. So very interesting geographical features that are available in front of us, and we will be able to hopefully bring you all of these details. I would request my producer to switch the screens as necessary and as possible. And right now what we are bringing to you is possibly back to the racing action from the takeoff and the visuals that are available. I'll wait for my producer to give me a confirmation if we are able to go back to visuals, because right now there are multiple information that I would like to give you in time to come. But for now, let's head back to the visuals from takeoff once we have the confirmation from the producer that there is enough possibility with the network. So in case there are times you are not able to see what exactly is going on in the networks, that is because we are working on GSM and LTE networks, where at times we do face some glitches with the streams, and due to which we are not able to see these things as smoothly. So right now there is a multi-view screen in front of you, where we are able to see the view that the pilot is watching as well. So right now the pilot in front of us is Matthias Helm. Matthias is joining us from about 1000 meters above ground level. So in case you are wondering how it looks, that is exactly how it looks from 1000 meters, with a pilot who happens to come from Germany. The country of Germany is one of the most strongest nations in the sport of paragliding and consistently produces high quality pilots over a period of year, and not just in sports class circuit. The country of Germany has seen as the home to a lot of manufacturers in the sport as well. So one of the strongest nations in the sport of paragliding, flying a GTO 3, which happens to be a Jin glider, which, as I mentioned, was very successful in challenging the status quo set by Ozone Photon, which was one of the first and the most popular wings that was available in the sport of paragliding. And one of the best results of Matthias has been the score of 28th position in last year SRS. So a fair bit of competitive pilot in Matthias, competition in Matthias, and over the period of this race we will be able to bring you possible action and inputs from Matthias in future. So stay tuned. We also have multiple live camera feeds from different pilots as well. There is also incoming transmission that we have multiple pilots that we will try and speak with during the air. So there's quite a lot of pilots that will be bringing us their information. So stay tuned. We will be joining you very quickly once we have the possibility of bringing you a little bit of sponsor messages after this production. So I'm going to request my producer to let me know if there is a possibility to play the sponsor messages, and after that we will be back to you in very short time to come. So stay tuned. We are coming to you live and exclusive on multiple channels right now, where this stream is being given to you not just on Twitch, not just on YouTube, but also across various platforms. So in case you're wondering where exactly can you tune in, feel free to check out paraglidinglive.com, and we will be back.
More than once. And one day looking up isn't enough anymore. You take that first step. You don't know yet what it will take. The early mornings, the failed launches, the wind that doesn't care about your plans. You go anyway. Then, the mountain. The real one.
When it's okay for you, you can start.
You run. You trust. And the ground lets you go. The city below. The same streets. A different angle. And people who share that passion together with you. The feeling gets better, the air more familiar. Your head gets free, and you start flying. And after all, sunset, grass under your feet again, that laugh. This is what further feels like.
Alrighty, baby. Give me some inputs. I'm running out of ideas. What to talk about, what to do. Alright, guys. Welcome back once again. I'm your host, Aninder Singh, and hello to our viewers who are joining us. Mariam, huge shout out to you. Thank you for putting in that smiley. Alexei, welcome to the live and exclusive broadcast of Sports Class Racing Series right from the landing fields of Bassano del Grappa, where I am Aninder Singh, and earlier you have had scenes from my co-commentator Jelle Johansson, and he will be joining me in the commentary box later as well. So for now, if I'm supposed to tell you, basically we are at least 25 minutes to the race start, and we have live visuals of Arcadius is joining us at a height of 1600 meters. He is one of the finest pilot that the nation of Poland has produced, but this is his rookie SRS season. So I think this is another one thing that I'm going to tell you guys about, that SRS has given the possibility for the pilots to test out their skills in the initial stages of their career in racing settings. Earlier racing settings, as I was mentioning about the higher performance wings and the faster wings, were usually reserved only for the pilots who were able to go 500 hours or beyond, which is quite a luxurious when it comes to chasing airtime in the art of free flight. But sports class racing series has made that dream possible. So in case you are one of those paragliding pilots who has been wanting to push full bar with more than 100 other people in a house thermal, then this is exactly where you go out and put the work, because sports class racing series cannot be called a gateway anymore simply because of the amount of people interested in it, but still it sets the precedent for further refining of your skills in a paragliding scenario. And in case you are wondering, the visuals on the left side are the magical visuals that we are seeing for task 4 of the sports class racing series, which was, in case you're wondering why exactly do we have task 4 titled 2 days in a row, for those of you who could not join us yesterday, it was simply because of the fact that this task was cancelled due to higher weather, due to more than expected thunderstorm possibility development. And in front of us we can see the visuals from the house thermal. We'll be sure to bring you position of Arcadius on the map as well, so that we are able to show you where exactly are the visuals coming from. So very shortly I'm gonna ask my producer to switch over the split screen view from mine to the map that is available, so that we are able to relate the viewers and show them where Arcadius is flying on the map. But while our producer is bringing the split screen, I would like to tell you that Arcadius is flying a Skywalk Mint. Now Skywalk Mint is a 2-liner ENC glider that is being brought up by the title sponsor of this video. And in case you are wondering how exactly are we able to make this possible, we have multiple sponsors which you can see that are believing in the good that is possible and bringing all of this reality to you. And all of these sponsors can be supported in the links in the bio that is available in the description in these things. Currently we have visuals from Jelle Johansson for a bit, but in case you're wondering what exactly is on your screen right now is the track of Arcadius. We are tracking multiple pilots right now, so Arcadius is more or less on the edge of the start point. So this is where the racing action will be taking place. And for those of you who are wondering why are there straight lines happening in our map, that is not because that we are facing some sort of GPS issues. There are areas with connectivity issues which will also might be the reason on why exactly we see the glitches in the live stream. But if I'm supposed to zoom out and show you, we basically get a lot of pilots forming 2 gaggles more or less, and both of these gaggles are forming at the height of almost same altitude. We have the pilots on the left side at 1300 meters, whereas on the pilots on the right side are almost crossing up to 1500 meters AGL. So fair bit of height available, and the visuals in front of our screen are coming from the camera of our co-commentator Jelle Johansson, who will be bringing us some more updates from the field that will tell us what exactly the tactics are, because Jelle likes to fly in the thick of the things and will be following the leaders up to a point. I am getting confirmation that Jelle Johansson, there might be a possible connection possibility with Jelle Johansson. So I'm gonna try and check that with my producer and see if Jelle can be brought online in some time. While we are doing that, we are back with our Polish pilot Arcadius, who is positioning himself fairly high. I think what's really encouraging to see is that there's 1600 meters worth of altitude. So the setup that you see in front of us is called a cocoon harness, and if you're able to see the instruments in his harness, these are basically called flight computers. So these computers are the one which tell you where exactly they are heading and what exactly is the glide ratio. So there's quite a lot of scientific algorithms that are being put into place that feed the pilot with very simplified information, because I think one of the main part about aviation is that pilot has to be given information which can be processed in the simplified form, because aviation is quite a lot of cognitive work overload where you have to put more than necessary resources to do general tasks. So all of these, over the period of time, these companies have somehow figured out to make it simple for these pilots. So in front we have the view of the cockpit of Arcadius from Poland, where we can clearly see a Flymaster live tracker on the left bottom corner. This is the integral part of the racing series, where this tracker is basically telling our race control and telling the pilots on the correct distance in the air. And right now what we see is a combination of Skywalk Mint and GTO Lite. So in case you're wondering what Arcadius has on his left hand side, these are called steering toggles. And now we have switched our camera to Matthias Helm. Matthias Helm is another one of those pilots who might be joining us later today, and he will be possibly also be brought on. And as mentioned earlier, he's a German pilot who finished in the score of 28th, I beg your pardon, in SRS 2025 season. And in case you're wondering why Matthias Helm's hands are a bit different, that's because he's pulling down on the lines of the glider, and these lines are basically used when you are activating an accelerator of some sorts, because this acceleration is usually required in the form of a speed bar. So what exactly happens is that, let's assume the glider has more or less the possibility to speed up if needed. So a lot of these pilots are positioning themselves in a way that they are able to speed up when needed, and they are able to explore the areas of the thermal in a way that they are positioning themselves in the right possibilities. So Matthias Helm's a little lower than the fellow pilot Arcadius, who we had a little bit on the screen, but I think I would like to mention one thing very important here is that as these pilots get higher up, connectivity does get erratic a little bit more, and we have been trying to solve this. And one of the reasons that we have given, in case you're wondering that why we haven't been able to fix this completely, is that a lot of cell phone towers, which happen to be one of the main transmission possibilities in this kind of data streaming, are usually pointed downwards where most of the population lives. So even though there are enough rays and enough streaming possibilities a little bit higher up, when it comes to transferring such high quality packets and data, it does take it a little bit longer than usual. But Arcadius getting closer to the cloud. So what you see in front of us is basically the dew point of a thermal looking very close, because what really happens is when a rising column of hot air goes up to a point where it reaches the height which is quite unsustainable for it to reach anymore, it condenses, and that condensation is what we see in the clouds. So Arcadius losing the connection a little bit there, freezing with the altitude of 1600 meters. But do not worry, I think one of the most amazing part about this is that we will be able to see an average of 30 to 40 kilometer per hour. So that also means that we are looking at a race start time of less than half an hour, almost 15 minutes from now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna check with my producer in time to come, but right now we have a 65 kilometer task with more than 130 3 pilots joining us for 33 countries. So as I was telling you about the diversity that exists in the sport of paragliding, it's quite interesting to see how all of these pilots are coming together from various nations and bringing us their absolute finest skills of handling the wing. So while we are waiting for more feed from a pilot, I'm going to quickly run you through the leaderboard that exists as of now. We have the German pilot Andreas Malecki flying the combination of ozone, photon and submarine. Now what's really interesting to see is that Andreas has multiple sponsors listed in his name as well, and these are the sponsors that are available in ozone. We'll be sure to bring you the track of Andreas very soon, where we are able to show you where his position is. So Andreas is closely followed by Arnold Castro. Arnold Castro happens to be second in position, and I think we're gonna find where exactly is Andreas in the leaderboard as well. But this happens to be a leaderboard of the task. So our team is trying to find the leaderboard of the competition as well. I think that would be possible in Air Tribune to see. Air Tribune leaderboards can show us where exactly they are going on. So we are working on bringing you more updates from the leaderboard, and what you can see on our screens right now are free flyers flying over the town of Bassano del Grappa, and these visuals are brought to you courtesy of Riacro Cam. What you can see is an absolute magical contrail that an airliner just formed right behind us on the paraglider. So a lot of flying objects in your viewfinder right now, and we'll be bringing you more such visuals in time to come. So coming back to the leaderboard, the top 3 is being formed by Andreas Malecki, Arnold Castro from Argentina and Ross Desmond from USA. What's really interesting is that all 3 of these pilots are flying the submarine harness, which happens to be very successful harness, and all 3 of them happen to have one thing in common, and that is the ozone company as their sponsor. So right now we are seeing an average of differentiation of the scores between almost less than 100 points. So the easiest way to see where exactly is the leaderboard, we're gonna switch over to Air Tribune and we're gonna show you in a little bit of time. Our team on the back end is working on how to show you where exactly is the current standings. Coming back to the leaderboard, we have Tom Hodgins from Great Britain. Now this is where I would like you to stick with me, where I am able to bring you a very exciting comparison between the pilots, and one of the reasons why I'm telling you this is that we saw top 3 pilots flying submarine. However, the next 4 pilots are flying Genie Race 5. So both of these harnesses are proving their competence in the world of racing paragliders, and I think if I have to take the names of these pilots and their countries, it's Andreas Malecki from Germany leading the leaderboard, leading the overall with 2,950 points, followed by Arnold Castro from Argentina, Ross Desmond from the USA, Tom Hodgins from Great Britain, Luke Nicol coming in, wrapping up the top 5 from Great Britain. Once again, as I mentioned, flying the GTO Light sponsored by the Gin Gliders. Luke Nicol is closely followed by Marco Sommerfeld and Carlos Lopez from Portugal. Marco Sommerfeld, I would like to clarify, is from the country of Chile. Both of them are followed in position number 8 by Dominik Kapika from Poland, again flying a combination of photon and submarine, having Fast Camper as one of his sponsors, which are followed by Friedrich Moned from Chile and Ulrich Jesop from Great Britain, flying a combination of photon and submarine, wrapping up the top 10. One thing I would like to mention is that Ulrich Jesop happens to be one of the most scorers that exist in the sport of paragliding. So while we are waiting for more live feed from our pilots, I'm just going to take this opportunity to head out and show you guys how it looks like. So while we are doing that, I'm just going to tell my co-producer here to try and pull up the leaderboard. And meanwhile, I'm just going to head out to show you the visuals from the landing fields. This is no stranger to the sport of paragliding, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and figure out if we can try and get some idea about the current racing conditions that exist in the skies of Bassano. So let's try and see if we can speak with a pilot here. Hello, sir.
Hello.
We are live and exclusive for the sports racing series that is happening right here. So would you like to speak to us and tell us how exactly is the air feeling like so far today?
Well, today it was really nice. I enjoyed it a lot. I was up like for about 2 hours, and but at times it was bumpy as well. But the thermal was very nice, and under the clouds was cool today. So first time I succeeded, which made me happy.
I can see the happiness of succeeding first time. It reminds me of my early days of thermaling.
Right.
So how long have you been in the sport, and how's it been treating you so far?
I've been around for like almost 20 years.
Would you like to hold on the mic?
Yes.
Please.
I've been around for about 20 years, and I enjoyed a lot because you never stop learning in the business, and it's just fantastic what the wings can do now. And yeah, I'm still learning. I just read a book by Kelly Farina, Mastering Paragliding, which is a really excellent book. And I try to do the things that he says in the book. And yeah, I'm learning this week that I've been here. It's been really, really nice. Thank you.
20 years is quite a long time,
yeah,
like 2 decades of
Yes,
practicing the
yes,
art of free
yes,
flight.
yes.
So how has the sport evolved in your years, and most importantly, like how has this place evolved? Because it's quite recent that
Yeah.
competitions like sports racing series have started coming to Bassano.
Right.
So a little bit of a history.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea that they came over to take place here. It's been like 15 years that they haven't done very much at the takeoff sites, which was a shame, I think, because we fly pilots we've been paying for years and years and nothing happened. And now they finally did something, which is good. But this special place here at Garden Relay is absolutely fantastic. And I came here as a beginner, and for the change, I would say that the wings have changed dramatically. And that has some repercussions on landing skills as well, because they just go on flying, and then they flare for ages. So that's a big difference. But that's not just my view, but all the professional pilots say that. So you have to change a bit. And I think I'm going to Macedonia to take place in an XC course with Toby Bay now from Passion Paragliding. And he says you should ground handle. And I think that's the most important thing. And I think the good pilots, they do quite a few of that.
Right.
For the change, what I think is that a lot of people use wings that are higher than their actual skill level.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a problem, I think. And I would really recommend people not flying too high wings, too hot
Indeed.
wings, because that's really a problem. The wing doesn't make you better at all. That's my experience.
Yes.
It's the skills and especially the ground handling.
Yes.
So I think, yeah, that's basically all I can say.
Fair enough. Thank
Thanks
you
very
for your
much.
input. Before we let you go, what's your name and where you're from?
Thomas, I'm from Bavaria, from Lower Bavaria, and yeah, that's Germany basically.
Yeah, I think we were just talking about a German pilot
yeah.
in the
Okay,
race,
okay.
Andreas Malecki. He happens to be.
Yes, I know him. He's a great guy, and I've been talking to him for a while.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago about the importance of talent in paragliding. You know, because a lot of people say, if you're talented, and so I think the most important thing is training.
Yeah.
And I was a sports teacher for many decades, and that's what we try to teach our kids as well.
Right.
The more you train, the better you become in whatever type of sport you do, and
Yeah.
especially in paragliding as well. And I remember sitting here like 3 years ago and talking to him about that. And he said that as well, because a lot of people say, you buy a better wing, a hotter wing, then you become a better pilot, and it's just talent for the good pilots.
Yeah.
So I don't think that. I don't think that.
I think these
Talent
are
is
very
just 3, 4, 5%.
right. Hard work
Yeah,
can actually get
exactly.
you very far. And I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
glad Andreas or Toby and
Yeah.
everyone is
Yeah.
kind of like the people that have gone out and proved
Right.
how to fly good are
Yep.
also believing in the same mindset.
Yes,
And I think
exactly.
this is
Exactly.
very interesting for listeners who are watching us live right now, is
Yeah.
that you,
Excuse
as
me.
long as you work for it, you get
Yeah.
the reward that you really deserve. So,
Exactly. And you never stop learning. That's why I do it. I love it. It's just, and I'm looking so much forward to Crucible now,
Yeah.
because I would like to improve the intuitive flying.
Right.
And that's what Toby is about as well, apart from the ground handling aspect.
Right.
And that's great. Yeah.
Right. Well, anyway, which ways, we're going to go check up on your colleague Andreas
Okay, thanks very
Maleke. Thank
much
you
for the
so
interview.
much.
Take care.
Yes,
Yeah,
likewise. Have a good day ahead. All right, guys. So those were some golden words from one of the experienced pilots with almost 2 decades of experience in the sport. So that's quite a nice amount of experience. And I think we're going to go back to the live feeds that are available in front of us. So I'm just going to go switch over to see which pilot is joining us right now and see if we can try and get some more details from the pilot. I beg your pardon for a shaky video that you are seeing. This is quite an improvisation setup. The pilot that we have on our screen right now is one of the pilots from Arkudius, the Polish pilot, the main man bringing us all the live feed. So one thing that I really like about Arkudius is that his setup, all the pilot from Switzerland, who is, no, I beg your pardon, he's a Polish pilot, I beg your pardon. And currently we are almost 5 minutes away from the start time. So let's, while we have a time check of 5 minutes from the start time, what we're going to do is we're going to quickly show you the current positioning of the gaggle while we have Arkudius's visuals in front of our screens. And what you see is that at an average height of 1500 meters, as we were talking to the guest right now, right outside, that this average height is where all the magic is happening in the air at the moment. So absolutely magical visuals coming in from Simon Steiner right now, who happens to be a Swiss pilot and is also one of the team members of the GIN official racing team. So what's really important here is that most of these manufacturers have sent their top of the line pilots to race in the 2026 season, because sports class racing series, as I mentioned, is the series for a new generation. So Simon Steiner coming out with very great, amazing high visuals from top of the gaggle at the altitude of 1500 meters. So in case you're wondering why we are seeing him take these wraps on the brakes, that is to avoid the fatigue. So currently we have switched over to Christian Durant's feed. Christian Durant, the Australian aviator, finding a bit of good climb and good positioning at 1500 meters altitude available right now in the race. And let's while we are having a bit of a freeze in the race, I'm just going to refresh the page behind me and see where exactly currently the start position is. So I'm going to ask my producer to switch over to my camera view right now for a bit in a split screen if possible, because I would like to show you guys where these pilots are, because we are almost at the race start now. Any minute, within next 2 minutes, which to be honest is not a lot of time to gain altitude. So this will decide exactly where the positioning of the pilots is. Now if I want to switch over to SRS tracking, as you can see, all of these cursors are sticking around the racetrack, the start area. Now in case you're wondering why exactly most of these cursors aren't really inside the red bubble, that is because maybe they are finding better lift here. So a lot of times it is essential that the lift which is available should be, it vanishes away, and then once the race starts you quickly get inside the circle, tag it, and then move out. So if we go to real-time live tracking, we can see there's a big gaggle forming to the southwest side of the race start. Basically this is which possibly happens to be some of the most strong points of thermic lift which allow us to see the spreading of the gaggle. Although there are a few pilots who are finding themselves and positioning themselves in the gaggle on the left side of this, the bigger gaggle as well. And let's try to click on Luke Nicole. As I mentioned, the current overall leader of the sports racing series. Luke Nicole is able to show us the altitude of around 1200 meters. So fair bit of height being given to both of these pilots. Now what's really interesting is that how all of them will try to congregate on the most efficient and the most shortest line possible, because the positioning of most of the gaggle is fair bit in the position where it should be. And as you can see, all of these guys are also having some big names. Here's Monica Tuckers, happens to be the wife of Paul Tuckers, also finding herself at the altitude of 1500 meters. So a lot of them managing to get high, stay high, and are able to join us for a very optimum position for the race start. The race start is coming to you in less than 60 seconds, guys. So stay very tuned, because right now all of this information is coming to you live and exclusive from the sports racing series Skywalk Edition, happening right here in Bassano del Grappa. So I'm just going to refresh my feed right now, because we're going to enter race start any minute from now. We're almost about 30 seconds. I beg your pardon, the race has started right now. We will be bringing you more visuals, and what we can see is, in case you are wondering, I'm just going to zoom in here. This trail tells you these pilots are going inside and then going out. We have a split screen view coming up very soon with more visuals, which tells you where exactly the other pilots are right now. But so far the race has started, and what we see in front of us is a pilot, Simon Steiner, on the left end. We will be bringing you more updates from the live field, but right now we are seeing the early start point positions of these gaggles. So in a few minutes the first positions of the gaggles will be available on how exactly they are going. In case you're wondering, this view is not exactly the live view because it is a public view, so there is a bit of a deferred view in this one. The other ones that we have access to are very specialized access, which are not usually available to everyone else, which are real-time views. So the Flymaster live tracking does show you how the position looked 4 minutes before the race started. And as I was mentioning, most of the pilots were kind of positioning themselves closer to where the most thermal was. So before the race start, we saw 2 or 3 big groups of thermals, of gaggles forming right in front of us, and more or less we have confirmation that all of these pilots are heading towards the first turn point, with Tudor currently leading the group, pilot number 127, with the speed of 43 kilometers per hour at an altitude of 1400 meters above ground level. Now, for those of you who are joining us right now, I'd like to tell you that we are looking at a task distance of 65 kilometers in the race. It's been a little over nearly about 2 minutes since the race has started, and we will be seeing a lot of pilots already go out and chase the distance, with almost a kilometer completed in the leaders. So over a period of time, you can see the race is heading in the southwest direction of the start, which happens to be away from the town of Bassano del Grappa. So the split screen view is available to you, and more updates will be coming soon on various channels that we are streaming this race to you. You can follow us live on Twitch and YouTube and other places that are available and mentioned in the description below, and also on paraglidinglive.com, where you find all these details. I'm your host Aninder Singh. My co-commentator Yele Johansel will be joining. A big shout out to the production team of Marco and Stefano, guys. Show them some love. These are the guys who are bringing you all the hard work and who have done behind the scenes and are allowing us to beam these images. So there's a collective effort that I would like to mention once again. There's a bunch of us who are very enthusiastic to bring you this revolutionary technology in the view. Currently, we have visuals again from Simon Steiner, and I would like to mention, look at the absolute magic that we are seeing in front of us. Simon reaching very high and able to still maintain his position of about 1400 meters in the air. We have multiple visuals from multiple pilots, and what we see is a very clear cockpit view of Simon Steiner. And in case you're wondering why his instrument look a bit different, that's because he is using a Air 3 instrument, which happens to be his flight computer. And what you see on his hands is basically the configuration of using speed bar, where he's pushing the speed bar and controlling the glider just with the risers instead of the control lines. Now, control lines are the lines which are usually formed with basically the construction of the paraglider, where these lines help you turn and adjust the angle of attack. Now, one thing that I would like to mention you guys clearly is that in case you look under his wrists, he is using rear view mirrors. So what's really important in the world of racing is that you do not look back or you do not turn back, because where the magic happens is when you keep on going in front without turning back. So Simon Steiner being very smart about it and using rear view mirrors to look back, more or less like in car racing. And right now in front of us is Matthias Helms. Matthias Helms is one of those pilots who is able to show us how exactly it is done. And basically he is cranking his GTO 3 in a thermal right now in front of us. And we have a confirmation from one of our viewers who is dropping in his appreciation, saying that it's an amazing job. Thank you guys. These kind of comments help us a lot. And if you want to share your appreciation, do feel free to join the donation link that is mentioned in the chat above, paraglidinglive.com/donate. That is where we will be very thankful to bring all of this action in even better quality, because eventually budgeting is an integral part of any production, and what we are bringing to you is unprecedented views right from the start gaggle. So these views have never been brought to you earlier in the history of paragliding, and Simon Steiner right now showing us how the lead gaggle looks like. And one of the most important things that I would like to mention is that if you look at Simon Steiner was holding on to full speed bar, due to which he was able to continuously follow and show people where they are. We're gonna find Simon Steiner on the map and try and see if we are able to bring Simon Steiner on the live view map in multi-view in some time if possible. So do bear with us. We are working on matching the feed along with the visuals that are available right now, but almost early hours of the flight, I think we are closing in on 15 minutes of elapsed race time that has gone by, where we are able to see I beg your pardon, about 5 minutes is what I was mentioning, where we are able to see such racing action coming to you live and exclusive from the Venetian skies of Bassano del Grappa. So what we will try and see is that we will try and head over to the live racing field action, and I'm going to quickly ask my producer to give me a multi-view where I'm able to show you where exactly the race is going ahead, because right now we have Simon Steiner's visual coming to us from the altitude of 1600 meters, guys. So it's not just the house thermal which was helping these guys stay up and get high, it was also the glides that they were going on. So the leaders have actually managed to pick up a lot of good lines, and right now what you can see is that most of this is becoming a trail of some sorts. And if I'm gonna pull out my ruler, what you can see is that most of these guys have already opened up a distance of approximately 2.5 kilometers in between the leaders and the trailing edge and the trailing edge of the gaggle, because this whole distance that is visible on your screen is almost a 2.5 kilometer distance. So a fair bit of fast start, I would say. I'm going to take this opportunity to try and click on one of the leaders of our race, who happens to be Tom Hodgkins. To be honest, at this zoom levels, the race is proceeding so quickly that we finally have a update from pilot number 71, Paulo Silva. We'll be sure to bringing you more information on the pilot Paulo Silva, but right now what we see is that he's gliding at a speed of 54 kilometers an hour. 54 kilometers an hour might seem like a bit normal, but right now it happens to be one of the most sophisticated technologies that are available in the free flight world, where these speeds are allowing us to not just push the envelope of performance, but also push the envelope of safety in a very well-defined manner. So coming back to you with the multi-view of Arcadius, we are able to see where Arcadius is currently, and a little bit lower than some gliders, but also a little bit higher. So very interesting visuals coming up, and I have just been given information that we have a co-commentator, Yele, willing to join us for some in-flight commentary. So without further ado, let's head over to some racing action from the skies. I would request my producer to give me a switch. Yele Johansson coming to you guys live and exclusive in the air. Let's have a listen.
Holy moly! All right. Hello everybody, welcome in the air. I hope you're hearing me well. Please, production team, confirm. This is crazy. We had a crazy good start. We were skimming underneath the cloud base. It was going really good, and this is still going crazy good. Look at all those gliders. You're receiving me. That's beautiful. Thank you. So, we're just making our pass over here to the Athena Bassano. There are a lot of takeoffs there. It's a full-on race. Everybody's on speed bar. I can't really keep up with my little harness here, my small size glider. But still good enough. I mean, I'm next to the GTOs. I wouldn't have thought that. And you see all the people back there really nailing it. I think they saw some lefty air to the left, so I'm just gonna follow them on autopilot. We had a Tigra following for a little moment, so a BGD team pilot, I'm not sure who it is. It was not Mark because I didn't see a camera. Hope he didn't lose ours. Oh, it's stinky air here. The question is now, do I believe like them, or do I go out in the front? But no racer is doing that. I shouldn't do that either. Oh, they're lifty. Okay, full on there. So you see them up there, really making a good glide. Some people got some height before the crossing, but most of them just pushed through. And I tried the same here, and we'll see if that works. Down there you see a Photon and a yellow submarine over there, just pushing it hard, having a good climb. Oh, it's a ripper. See up there, look. Look at that. Look at the GTO. We'll hopefully get the same climb now. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Was expecting a bit more. But still it's going up, so that's good. Where's the smasher? I'm waiting for it. And by the way, fun fact, I got attacked by a bird just after the takeoff when I was scratching along. I'm eager to hear if other pilots have the same problem. That little birdie wanted to, well, kill my glider. Probably he was nesting somewhere around there. Anyway, back to the race. We have a Tigra over there with a Ginjani. That could be Mark. I think we have 3 or 4 in the race here. That's a rip of a climb. I'm a little bit uncertain now. I can't turn back now. Oh, look at that glider. Look at that photon over there. Just up front there. We have, I think it's a Tau with a submarine there. I'm not sure who it is. It's not Noel Arbala. He has a advanced harness, an Impress. Do I need to, what is going on? I'm thinking out. So we'll need to thermal to get up again to the race. This is happening when you do the multitask at the same time. But look at the clouds. This is what a flying fawn looks like. On cloud base, we are like 1700, 1800, probably rising. And we gotta climb. And there's southerly winds forecasted, which will push all the hot air towards the ridge and pull it up. So very lifty here at the ridge. The task setters made it a little bit more interesting for the race and for the pilot participating in the way like putting the turn points out a little bit. But honestly, we had a really lifty line towards the turn point. Not everybody, I had the fortune, was fortunate and had a really lifty line to make it towards the turn point. Also have to follow the leaders, of course. This is not a good climb, I'm sorry. We need a ripper now to catch them guys, otherwise I'm a little bit behind. Let's see, but yep. No, well, otherwise I just hang around here. So, you see the leaders are already up front. The names you will get from Ananda, hopefully, if that's possible. But they're catching them right now. They're right behind them. Right behind them here. We have the second group forming now. Voluntarily, of course. Alright, I think we're going back into the office. I'm just hearing the production. So let's go back to you guys. And if that's possible. But, connection. Keep the good work up and enjoy this race. This is a beautiful day. Please tell me when we're back again, like when I'm out.
Production, do you copy?
Otherwise,
Production, do you copy? Commented to the side.
Just cut me some. Oh, last group is forming, catching up. Oh, somebody's coming in late there. And some latecomers over there.
Alright guys, welcome back to the views from the race. I quickly wanted to bring you guys a little update that right now we had about a very small move that was very important, where we saw Christian Durant on your screens take the lead with Paul Tuckerts, and both of them happen to be very close friends, and Paul Tuckerts is also the coach of Christian Durant. So both of them taking a different line than the gaggle, and the move paying off for a little while. I would like to mention that the view that you are watching right now is a bit of a deferred live view. This was 4 minutes ago, where Paul Tuckerts and Christian Durant more or less followed a line along that exactly is in parallel to the red line that is on the left view of your screen right now. So Christian Durant and Paul taking a move, getting a bit low than expected, and the leaders of the gaggle more or less able to move forward in a very unobstructed manner. So if I'm just going to go ahead and switch to live view that is available right now, is where we see the leaders of the gaggle finally able to cross over the early jitters of this at an altitude of around 800 meters. So what we see is, if I bring my camera viewfinder closer, we'll try to find Christian Durant and Paul Tuckerts in here once again as well, because we did try and have a live tracking view available on them, but for a bit we have lost them. So we're just going to switch over to SRS live view and show you the current position of the gaggle. Basically, currently the gaggle is almost at a halfway mark between the turn point number 1 and turn point number 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and take a ruler and show you where exactly they have gone, because very soon I'll be able to head out and show you guys where exactly is the gaggle positioning right now. But if we have to talk about a ruler and the distance, we see a total turn point distance of about 16 kilometers. So this is exactly where the leaders are, almost have covered a distance of 10 kilometers from the turn point number 1 after the race start, and the trailing edge is nearly 5 kilometers behind the leaders. So the gap opening up and early moves coming in from Paul Tuckers, followed closely by his friend Christian Durant. We will be bringing you more updates on figuring out if the move has actually gone through or not. So while we are doing that, I'm just gonna use this opportunity to head outside and see if we are able to see the gaggle passing by, which should be quite a spectacular sight to watch. One thing I would like to mention is that we also have a reacro cam, and I think this is the reason why I head outside, because what's in front of us is the magical view of the competition gaggle. So I'm just going to try and position my camera right here and show you guys that the ridge racing which we were talking about in the early start of the stream is looking exactly as planned. So the views in front of you are the leaders of the race trying to collect more height. So what you see in front of you is at least about 50 plus gliders trying to find who is the fastest and where is the highest amount of lifting hot air that is available. And what you heard was our co-commentator Jelle Johansson giving you all the live updates, who is not too far behind. So Jelle will be joining us a little bit later in the commentary field and in the commentary box, but until then I would like to leave you guys with these visuals that are coming to you live and exclusive from the town of Bassano del Grappa, where we are able to see the second edition of sports class racing series Skywalk Edition happening courtesy of Skywalk Paragliders, which also happens to be as the racing for new generation. I am your host Aninder Singh. All of this is being brought to you courtesy of paraglidinglive.com, where you are able to see every single paragliding competition live and exclusive in time to come. So a revolutionary technology in our sport, beaming you these images directly from the field of play in the thick of the action. And I will try and show you guys how the leaders look like. What you see in front of me is a bunch of gliders doing the art of ridge racing at its finest. So these are the wings that are currently collecting most of the leading points in front of us, and currently you can see most of them are fairly low at a middle point mark, and a bunch of other gliders are kind of trying to stay safe, collect the early height, because as I was mentioning earlier in the race that these are also the mountainous regions where you can see the thermals being at its strongest, and as expected these lines have been flown at some of the fastest speeds in the competition so far, with a lot of leaders taking in the leading points at about 54 kilometers per hour on the trim, which is not the usual, because a lot of times all of these competitors are pulling up their socks and picking up all the leading points with full bar on glide. So a lot of times we will have multiple streams coming to you from in-flight commentary and also showing you the outdoor visuals that are available in the sport of paragliding when it comes to sports class racing. So do feel free to share this with your friends and family and let us know Paragliding Live is bringing you all of this action right from the racing fields of Bassano del Grappa. Very soon we will be bringing you the leaderboard as well, and what we see right now are these images happening right in front of us with cumulus clouds at the backdrop, forming the backdrop of what is happening in front of us, and at least about 60 to 70 gliders in the viewfinder. And in case you are wondering, in case you are joining us right now, I would clearly like to mention that this is a paragliding race taking place courtesy of all our sponsors. So the banners that you see shown under the video are the banners that are coming in from all the brands that have supported this good cause over a period of years. So do feel free to share your love and show them your support by following the links in the description below. And as mentioned earlier, we do also have a donation link where you can go ahead and do your monetary bit, which goes a very long way. If I'm completely honest, we do need every bit of support to make sure that we not just bring these images to you, but we also bring these images to a wider audience outside the world of paragliding. Over the past few days, we have managed to reach out to a lot of more fans who have written to us. So thank you for your support time and again. We are very thankful for every single piece of encouragement that you send our way. It is moments like these that keep us encouraged to make it a better show every single time we go out. And what you see in front of us is magical scenes from the lead gaggle and the trailing edge. We are facing a bit of a network issues, but I'll request my producer to switch over to multi-view screens right now, because I quickly want to have you guys look at the leaderboard right now, because the leaderboard is a very interesting one where we are able to see multiple pilots collect a lot of leading points. So currently the pilot in front is Tudor from Romania, and he is closely followed by other leaders who are almost just shy of 3 kilometers from the longest one in the race. So I'm going to try and see if my viewfinder can be changed and we can follow these leaders further on. But of course we are facing some limitations with the equipment that we have, so do bear with us as we bring you more detailed coverage and more immersive visuals. But so far, do not worry in case you are thinking the clouds in front of your screen are the ones which are a bit too gnarly, because that is just a over zoom magnification. Because if I'm supposed to zoom out and show you how exactly the skies look like, I'm pretty sure you'll be delighted to know that we are not facing any threat, unlike yesterday that we had of overdevelopment. So fairly flat top clouds which are not towering up into big ones. But without further ado, I'm gonna switch over a little bit to the trailing edge of the gaggle, where you are able to see even more paragliders trying to chase. And very shortly we will be able to bring you the rankings very soon. But before I do that, I just want to quickly show you how exactly the gaggle dynamics looks like in the lead group. As you saw, some of these pilots were scratching low at a given point in time when they were passing a bit closer to us. But as they are heading to the east turn point and they're closing in on the 3 kilometer mark, we can see a lot of them have decided to slow down and pick up more height, because as mentioned earlier, they are heading over to the highest feature of the race called Monte Grappa, the peak, the summit of Monte Grappa, which happens to be at a height of almost 1700 meters. So I'm going to take this opportunity to head back inside the commentary box and show you guys the leaderboard. I beg your pardon, apologies for the increased zoom here. What we're going to do is we're going to quickly run through the leaderboard that is visible in front of us. And as I was mentioning, what you can see currently is that most of them are able to maintain a healthy height of somewhere around 600 to 500 meters. So a lot of them are able to stay high, get high and stay high. But what's really interesting is that there are pilots like Desmond from US who are a class above right now with 1390 kilometers. I beg your pardon, 1390 meters, with the leaders almost closing in to tag the first turn point. So I'm just going to head over to the real-time live view, and as you can see, it matches currently what we were seeing in the leaderboard, with Arnold Castro cruising in at 57 kilometers an hour. So very close to the first turn point. And if I'm going to pull my marker, what you can see here is that he is barely 500 meters away from the first turn point to tag, and a refresh tells you that he has actually gone ahead and made the turn point already. So very soon we will see all of these gliders turn back and head towards the flats. Now I think this is where it eventually will start becoming a bit more tricky, where this turn point is heading outer on. So we will see a little bit of slower racing and more strategy coming into play. And more, in case you're wondering where exactly am I finding all of these data, the thing is, if you head over to srs.live, you are able to see all of this uninterrupted coverage coming to you live and exclusive in SRS.live tracking as well. So we'll be sure to keep on bringing you more exclusive updates as the pilots head to the next turn point in the flats. But for now, we'll have to take a short little break for our sponsors' messages. So meanwhile, do stay tuned, share, like, subscribe, and tell your fellow pilots on how to follow this race, and we'll be sure to bring you more racing action in time to come. Stay tuned. I'll be back with you very soon.
Yes.
All right, guys, so we will be bringing you the sponsor messages very soon,
want
but
me
right
to
now
talk?
what I want to tell you is Friedrich Monet, which was one of the leaders, we will be looking forward to bringing you his tracks in the multi-view very soon. Friedrich
All
Monet
right, everybody.
is a
I made it
pilot
out
from
of there.
Switzerland flying in
The good
ozone photon. So
thing
we
is
are
that I'm
trying to follow his
for
tracks,
you guys to
but
give you
what
the
you
best
do see
coverage.
currently in front of your screen is our co-commentator Jelle Johansson showing you
The start,
how
the takeoff is at a height of like around 900 meters, 1,000 meters maybe. At first, maybe I missed the cycle. I don't know. And also here I got low because I thought, hey, come on, it's working. I had a 6 meter in between, but honestly, down there, it still has worship. It still has to bake through. It still has to heat up more. That's not
a very robust recommendations from pilots saying that he is known for his bold moves. So quite a lot of racing actions coming your way, and we are back with Arcudius, who is finding himself fairly high above the town of Bassano del Grappa at the height of 1600 meters. Once again, Arcudius has been managing to keep our audiences entertained with all the racing actions from usually from the lead gaggle And while we are speaking,
still there? You
I
see
think
the
what I would
leaders
like
over
to
there
mention
right
here
now
is that
pushing
the
off.
leaders of the race are on their way to the second turn point and are almost 2 kilometers into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my producers to switch over to my multi-view so that they are able to show the visuals that I'm explaining on to the audiences in front. That currently, if we go back to the live tracking map, what we have in front of us is an SRS live tracking map, and this distance has already more or less made the whole lead gaggle look like a V, where most of the pilots somehow managing to stick to the most optimal line, which happens to be also the line which is very essential to collect all the leading points. So right now we see Jelle Johansson dealing with a bit of turbulence in the air, finding it a bit extra control that he's having to do. And finally, I would like to switch over to Flymaster tracking, where we are able to find a ruler when the speeds are coming in so thick and fast. So flats so far, even though we see the gaggle hasn't really turned anywhere to more or less circle right now, most of them are still able to find good lead gaggle points available to them. So what we are seeing is we are seeing Chris Hobbs, Victor Usanov, Alex Rueg, Luke Nicole, and Kuba Stowe, guys. Kuba Stowe, one of the very informative pilot who consistently makes these softwares and the bots which allow us to process the data that we have in paragliding. So follow Kuba Stowe online, just Google him up and you're gonna see some very interesting available insights on his website about the metrics and the data that paragliding has seen over the years. So almost, let's say, first 20% of the race has managed to finish so far, and we are able to find that majority of the leaders have managed to cross more than 50% of the mark that is available towards the second turn part. But what I'm waiting for is that when they will finally be able to start circling, because right now they're coming in from very high altitude from the mountains, and it will be very interesting to see how these pilots are finally able to decide on what exactly would be a good turn point to collect the thermals once again to gain. So while we are talking and looking forward to bringing you more details, I'm gonna ask my producer to switch over to the tablet view so that we are able to show you the tracks of the leaders and how exactly they have moved so far. So if my producer is able to switch over to the tablet view, I'm gonna go to the deferred live view where we are able to see a bit more detailed views until we are able to bring you more live coverage updates from the sky. So currently we can see that the V shape has more or less been pretty much solidified, where we are able to see Christian Durant finding himself a bit behind than expected, but Mark Janaway getting lower as the time progresses, because these are the pilots, remember, in case you were joining us more than 10-15 minutes ago, these are the pilots who did make quite a big move, quite a bold move, but did not pay off eventually. So there's always a bit of a risk in the sport of paragliding, because simply for the fact that we are dealing with invisible air masses, and a lot of this understanding of air masses has to come with practicing the sport. So the more you practice thermaling, the more you are able to finally go out and put your efforts in doing the art of flight, is the more you start understanding how this behaves. So what's really important is that a lot of times you will have to go out and take risky decisions. You will have to go out and take some moves which might pay or might not pay. That has to be understood, that sometimes this is what makes or break your race, and how you manage it, whether you do it early on, whether you do it later, whether you save it for the last, is when it can decide on how it will work. But I'm I think we are at a moment where we will try to get you some more in-air live commentary, and meanwhile we will bring you more racing action coming to you guys in time to come, because right now, if I'm supposed to go back to the real-time live tracking that is happening in front of us, we see the leaders have decided not to circle towards the second turn point towards the flat. So this is very interesting that they were coming in with a height of almost 1600 meters, and so far not a single glider has really turned. That means they are pretty confident of either finding a thermal or trying to find a lifty line. But what's really amazing is that Kuba Stowe happens to be pilot number 161, has come in at an altitude of 830 meters. So out of all of this distance, they have managed to find very lifty line, which has basically made them lose only about 800 meters for a whole coverage of around 6 kilometers that they have covered so far towards the second turn point. So they probably will have almost some more distance to cover in time to come, but more or less that distance is nothing significant compared to the next leg. So about a kilometer away from the second turn point, what will be really interesting is to see if the 800 meters worth of altitude is enough to go back to the mountains, or is the gaggle confident enough to find more lifting lines out there in the flats, because the next turn point will be having a distance of somewhere around 10 almost 10 kilometers towards the northwest direction of the race. And more or less so far it has been very fast, with an average speed of 40 to 50 kilometers an hour of the leaders. The gaps have consistently increased over a course line. I would like to mention that the images that you see, the icons that you see in front of you, are basically the icons of the pilots that are spread out over. So currently there is a gap of almost 6 kilometers, and very soon I have been given confirmation that we will be seeing them outside. So we will have our spotters ready to show you what exactly is the current scenario with the gaggle. And coming back to the distance between the leaders and the trailing edge, if you remember, it started at a 2.5 kilometer mark. 2.5 kilometer mark was what the lead gaggle was able to open up in the early stages of the race, and currently they are able to more or less push that further up to almost 5 to 6 kilometers at the end of second turn point. So very soon we'll be bringing you more visuals in time to come. So I'm just going to take a little tour out in the open and try and see if I can find any more gliders in the view. Meanwhile, we're gonna head out and try and see how exactly is happening the race. And what you see in front of you is not always paragliding competition pilot. These are a lot of free flyers who come to the skies of Bassano del Grappa as well and practice the art of flight. So here you see a pilot on approach, coming in fairly high, doing the S turns well above. And in case you're wondering, for those of you who are new to paragliding, these are smaller sitting harnesses which allow more control and less swinging, less streamlined versions of the flying. So what the visuals you see in front of you are a pilot coming into land, and very soon we will be able to follow the gaggle right in front of us. As well, in the backdrop you can see absolutely beautiful cumulus clouds forming up, and very well managed landing there from this newbie right now. And if I'm supposed to turn my camera back, I am able to see the leaders of the gaggle still fairly high, with some pilots getting a bit low. So I'm just going to try and position my camera here and bring you all the live and uninterrupted action in the coming moments, because right now these are the leaders who have already tagged the second turn point and still decided that it is not a necessity to turn in the current conditions. So what will be really interesting is that most of them, I think right now, are hoping to find a climb which allows them to proceed in a way where they are able to maximize the thermaling efficiency instead of the height. So it seems like majority of the climbs so far have been around the intensity of 3 to 4 meters per second higher up in the air. And I'm going to try and zoom in and see if the viewfinder of my camera is able to find some of the gliders in front of us. I would like to reiterate that the glider closest to us is not a competition pilot, it is a free flyer. But if you are able to see small little dots behind him, these are the competition pilots, these are the races that are heading. So very soon these guys are coming in and closing in on a midway mark to the next turn point. So approximately still holding good altitude of 300 to 400 meters above ground level, and it wouldn't be surprising to see them get more altitude with the way conditions are, because beautiful cloud streets marking the routes for them. So all they really have to do is head over for the right thermal and try and make the most out of it. While we are doing it, here is another beautiful landing coming in and happening right in front of Garden Relay, the official landing field of the paragliding competition sports racing series, happening right here in the mecca of free flight in European Alps. Bassano del Grappa, brought to you live and exclusive by the production team here at Paragliding Live. So as I mentioned multiple times earlier, feel free to do your own bit and bring us your support in whichever way possible. So currently we have Paul Tuckert's back in the lead, and Brett Janaway has somehow found himself back in the rising columns of hot air and managed to pull back the lost time. So finally guys, we see the turns coming in thick and fast towards the next turn point, and this is happening right above the landing fields. So what we see is a small gaggle of Paul Tuckert's, Brett Janaway, Rafael, Victor and Tudor collecting all the leading points towards the next turn point and still managing to stay high. Now they have been in this gaggle for just a little bit long, and it seems that most of them are able to core it fairly well. It seems like a very well managed thermal and the glider. In case you're wondering, the glider lowest in front of you is Tudor, and Tudor is a glider, is a pilot who is very well known for attacking his opponents regularly. He flies a very aggressive style of racing and is known to come in thick and fast and low at times. So a lot of good quality racing. I would like to mention the gliders in front of you are not the comp pilots, these are the free flyers. And while we do see most of the gliders getting high and able to collect most of the thermals ahead, there are a few others who have chosen to go a bit low and still try and make the most of what's available. In case you remember, in the beginning of the race, I did give you a bit of a heads up that these gliders will be facing a smaller ridge as well. So these gliders, let's say, are almost 100 to 200 meters above ground level, where the thermal strength is at its weakest. So it's not that they have not collected the leading points as well, it's just that while doing so they have lost out on the altitude that is available. So what's really interesting is Paul Tucker's taking a very different line, but simply because of the fact that his coring ability of a thermal that he has honed over the years has been magnified so many times over a period of time that he has refined it over and over, leading him to do these risky moves and yet somehow recover all in the right way to make it count when it matters the most. So I'm just going to try and zoom in and see if we are further able to catch them with a viewfinder, as it becomes harder and harder with more gliders appearing in the viewfinder on where to focus. But we will be sure to bringing you more live action from the field as well, as we see many more gliders approaching. So the leaders have managed to get high in a thermal and will be keen to head over, and I'm gonna try and zoom in. Do let me know in the comments if you're able to see all of these gliders in your view, or if you need more improvement in the visuals. I'd love your feedback. But what you see is most of the lead gaggle now coming together, and the earlier leaders who did find thermals have marked them very well for the chasing group. So I'm just gonna quickly head inside while all of this action is coming to you and try to figure out where exactly the live tracking is happening, because Udo has been one of those pilots who has managed. And one thing that I would like to mention is that Udo was having a result, a very impressive result of position number 11 in the year before last, because last year I did beat him in a few paragliding World Cup competitions where he was racing his lean C glider in the field of triple Cs. But in 2024, Udo managed to beat the position number 1 in the SRS competition. Right now we have visuals from Simon Steiner, who's coming to us with an altitude of 800 meters above ground level and still pushing full bar relentlessly. And we are trying to track Saj Durand, as Saj was a bit low earlier, but has been following the turn point, has been following the best over a turn point. You are able to see multiple gliders already tagging the turn point and heading over to the next one with almost 2 kilometers. So basically, when they left the southwest ridge of the big mountains of Monte Grappa, they left that at an altitude of close to 1600 meters, which was a fairly good one. As I mentioned, the summit of Monte Grappa was somewhere around 1700 meters, and after that, this is the only thermal that they have taken which has allowed them to climb back up again to an altitude of somewhere around 1000 meters above ground level, which to be honest is not bad in such conditions when they are so racy. So one single thermal, this tells you the quality of the day today, and the 65-kilometer task being a fairly doable task that has been set by the race committee, because very interesting task, not just from the perspective of the flyers but also from the perspective of the race control that has managed to set such a task. So over a period of time, we'll be bringing you more action, more live updates. Do stay tuned. Don't forget to follow all the live action that is coming your way from the sport of paragliding in the sports class racing series. So we will be bringing you all of this courtesy of Skywalk paragliders, who have been very kind to sponsor this event, and of all the production team that has been working relentlessly. I have been told that we have live comments from my co-commentator Yele. So in a minute we'll be cutting to Yele Johansson, who is in the air and joining us and giving us all the updates. Yele, over to you.
Okay, everybody, I'm not sure when we'll be live. Please, producer team, give me a tello if we're live already. Then I give you the last message. All right, thank you. So here we go. Hello, everybody, welcome back. This is my last transmission here, my last little update from the air. I would love to continue with these guys. It's fucking awesome. It's really, I could bite my nails right now. It's so interesting. It's so much tension because, as I said before, I felt like beneath 1000 meters. you have problems getting up again. We see a lot of pilots in the back there scratching low with weak climbs. We had at least 3-4 pilots on the fields already down there. Here also you see a lot of scratching low. They push low and now they're low and they're not that good layer of air. And they're having a hard time extracting themselves again to the good layer of air, which starts at around 1,000 meters, I would say. So these people that are right in front of me are taking it a little bit slower, where the second gaggle, you know, are now trying to reconnect and coming in with more height than the most people who are pushing low and risking a lot. But I don't have the live tracking with me right now, so Anina knows better who's in the lead right now and if they still manage to scoop along, miraculously. But look at the clouds. If you're up there, if you manage to cloud surf them, stay beneath them, we still have 10 kilometers to go to the next turn point, which is across the valley. You do the valley crossing and it's almost where the first turn point, where the start of speed section was, out there over these hills. So the optimized line, or the best line that seems to me to be appearing, is following this cloud, like turn up at these clouds. Get to the next one out front, turn up, get the turn point, and just come back on the same line. Check the turn point, which is just in front of the valley here, the outflow of this river of Bassano. And then you're in goal already. So this race is only 30 kilometers long now. We got half of the race covered now. And I will come down to the commentary box now, trying to give you the best broadcast. But let's take a last little look here at these guys, which could be becoming the leaders if everybody pucks up the thing, keep it on the toes, and see you down there. I'll take you with me. Maybe we see my landing, maybe not, but let's go back to the commentary. I'm not sure how look at that. Tigera! It's just so nice colors. Don't make it crash, please. Okay, I was on full speed bar. I'll give it back to the commentary box. Ananda, you're doing great work. Let's keep it coming. I'm turning the wrong direction. Let's go the other way.
Yele Johansson, give my man a shout out. It takes a lot of effort to fly these wings, and Yele Johansson is also flying a 2-liner wing, so go show him some love in the comments. Like, subscribe, share this video with your friends and family, because we are coming to you live and exclusive from Bassano del Grappa for 2nd edition of Sports Racing Series Skywalk Edition, the racing for a new generation, coming to you courtesy paraglidinglive.com, and you can follow all of this action on srslive.com as well. And while Yele was telling to you in the air, I'm going to request my producer to switch over to the screen, because I have some new updates from our main man Saj Durant here. Saj, if you remember, was one of the early attackers of the race, where he managed to go ahead and do his own bit, following his coach Paul Tuckerts and taking a different line. But what's really interesting to see is that Paul has managed to recover, whereas Saj has found himself a bit lower than expected. So he is still on his way to 2nd turn point, and we finally have confirmation that first bomb outs have started coming in. So there has been a bomb out. We are trying to figure out which pilot has landed, and we will bring you more details in time to come. So Saj Durant, coming back to Saj, there was a pilot who has managed to basically find himself a bit low. Here is the bomb out pilot where we have and we will be there are more updates of bombing out pilots coming in. So multiple pilots finding themselves bombing out in the flats. We are sure to bringing you more action from the flats. As I mentioned, this is where the leaderboard for the day starts becoming interesting. As expected, a lot of the leaders who are able to core the thermals and leave them really well and are a bit conservative with the lines. To be honest, one thing that I would like to mention is that the ones who land first in goal aren't the most aggressive pilots. Those pilots who are making their moves in a very conservative but decisive manner. They are holding back and going only when they want to go. And one of the things that is notable here is that a lot of times there are some other pilots who are going out and putting the work out in the front, who are showing people you win some, you lose some, more or less. A lot of times Kuba Stowe has been one of those pilots who has consistently gone out and made it count, and right now is heading over the center of Bassano del Grappa. What's really interesting here is that Kuba Stowe has managed to pull out a decisive lead of almost 1.5 kilometers from the trailing group. So that's quite a bold move. I think I'm going to take this opportunity to try and see the altitude of Kuba Stowe, which happens to be 600 meters above ground level, guys. That is quite a healthy altitude. And what I would like to mention here is that the chasing group is coming in at about 1,000 meters above ground level. So Kuba Stowe clearly making it a point to leave a thermic lift earlier than planned and head over to the next turn point. But what's really interesting is that none of these pilots are finding themselves low or finding it hard to pick up the remaining climbs. So we are facing some bit of technical glitches in bringing you more detailed live racing action, because right now we have been told that there have been a fair bit of headwind coming in from the southwest direction. Now if I'm going to take a zoom out on the map, this is where the north direction is, and this is where the city of Venice exists. Now whole of the action is happening over the southern part of Alps Dolomites. So right now we are basically seeing a lot of headwind coming in from the southwest direction, which has effectively slowed down the penetration ability of these gliders as they head towards the turn point number 3. So we have been told by production that very soon we will have some in-air commentary as well. And talking about bomb outs, we have been given confirmation that there have been 3 confirmed landings, and one of them happened to be a Chinese pilot. So very interesting to see Chinese pilots coming in and landing. And what I see right now is my commentary co-commentator Jelle Johansson spiraling down with his at an height from about 1,000 meters. So in case you're looking how much fun it feels to have when you are flying the aircraft of paragliders, this is what the view looks like. So Jelle Johansson clearly gonna be on a big high as he comes down. We can't wait to have him in the commentary box and have more chats with him. So stay tuned. Do let us know where you're joining us from. In case you're new to the channel, I'm your host Aninder Singh. We are coming to you from Bassano del Grappa, where we are bringing you live and exclusive coverage for the Skywalk edition of the sports racing series. And right now we see the visual of Arcadius right now in front of us, having 700 meters to spare, and the majestic historical town of Bassano del Grappa. Bassano del Grappa has been one of the main towns of historical significance where art of free flight has been practiced for quite a long time. Now Bassano, I have just been told, was one of the war cities and a site of Napoleon when he was doing his conquest, and eventually was included in the kingdom of Lombardy until 1866. So until the year 1928, the town was called Bassano Veneto, which is very interesting because to any of the pilots who fly the art of flight and come here to practice the sport of paragliding only call it Bassano del Grappa, which is a fairly new name that has been given. But this town has often, due to its strategic location, played important role, and Grappa is basically the name of a distillery which is located in the bridge. So a lot of times you will see that there have been bridges across Italian towns, and these bridges are usually a part of the distilleries which do all the refining projects. So I'm just gonna take this moment to head out and try and show you what exactly is happening with the lead gaggle. So bear with us because we see a lot of pilots coming in, and right now what we have is our co-commentator Jelle Johansson coming in to land into the commentary box. So without further ado, we're gonna bring you all the live actions. Give it up for my main man Jelle for putting in such an absolutely magical work from the skies, and very soon we're gonna have all the updates from Jelle, who is very excited to share all the views in the commentary box right with you guys. And behind, in the backdrop of this, we can see there is a fair bit of racing action going on, and I'm just going to take this opportunity to span my camera slowly over to the top of the race, where we can see a fair bit of at least 10 to 15 gliders scoring all the top thermals right above the town, above the landing fields, I beg your pardon, of the Hotel Garden Relay, which happens to be one of the most popular locations for all sorts of free flight enthusiasts. So a lot of pilots are also following the lead gaggle, and while Jelle happens to be packing his wing, I'm gonna switch over and try and catch all the live racing action that is happening on the fields in front of us. So I'm gonna request my producer to switch over to the screen in front of me, and what I see basically is that town of Bassano del Grappa has effectively slowed the speed of the gaggle, and we have confirmation that Jelle Johansson is back on ground. Jelle, my man, welcome to the land.
How are we doing, buddy?
We are doing absolutely magical. The race is thick and fast. The leaders are literally killing it. Tell me, how was the air quality in the sky? What was it like?
I hope the transmission wasn't that bad.
Transmission was absolutely amazing. The audiences are loving it. They have been showing their love and support to you. So thank you for your hard work that you put in. It's so good to have you in the commentary box.
Thank you,
and
guys.
Up there.
Yeah, because I kind of tried to tell it in the air, and it confirmed itself again and again and again. How low are the leaders? What was their altitude over ground right now?
They're almost 500 to 600 meters and just crossing over the town of Bassano. So things
Is it working,
are
or are they very in danger to bomb out?
I think at an average, the biggest sink that we have seen so far is when they were coming in over the flat. So we have had 3 confirmed bomb outs so far. But other than that, yes.
Wow.
Yes. So we have had Paul Tuckas choose a different line, which was really interesting to see his attacks coming in. Sarge Durant followed him and did make it up to a turn point. But after a while,
We lost our camera guy.
No, we did not. Both of them are still in the air, so there
Okay.
has been no bomb outs,
Okay.
but Sarge is a bit slower and still trying to catch up, whereas Paul is back in the lead gaggle.
Oh, no way. How
Yes.
did he manage that? I want to see the tracks later. But anyhow, like for the quality, like for climb qualities, I felt like it's hard underneath 1,000 meters. That's why I asked, like, how low are they? Because I felt the climbs further down, like below 1,000, they are weaker. They're less organized. And when you get like over 1,000, suddenly you have the 3 meter, the 5 meter, especially at the ridge. Also in the front, we had also a good 3 meter climb somewhere. But I was a bit worried for the guys pushing very low towards that turn point and then also continuing very low. I'm very surprised that they're still in the air, honestly.
You know, I think one of the most surprising things for us to see from here in the commentary box is that you see these small little hills in front of us, and there were 2 gliders coming in scratching super low.
Yeah.
And I think more or less it took them nothing more than 60 seconds of scratching until they actually found a ripper of a thermal and eventually managed to get themselves more than 500 meters above ground level.
No way.
Yeah, man. So
it's working. Yeah,
it has been.
Flying here, I had a very lifty line, so like these little hills are delivering. That's for sure. But sorry, I'm a little bit dizzy. I spiraled down here like non-stop. I was at 12,000 just 3 minutes before here.
Indeed.
But it's going. What did I miss?
Not a lot, to be honest. There has been quite a lot of interesting moves been going on. But you know, without further ado, I'm just gonna let you remove all of this and get back in the zone. And in case you guys are wondering how much hard work it takes, this is the setup that is needed to bring all of this magic to you guys. So there's a fair bit of R&D and tech, and as you can see, you are seeing my view on the streaming camera and the streaming kits over here. So we are doing a lot of hard work, guys.
For the tech guys of you, this is the action cam. The action cam is connected to this phone, sending over this router to this phone. I have to walk with your camera right now. Going like from the camera over the router here. Then the signal goes from this phone over the router out, but also I matched my phone towards it. It's like beeline, I don't know, like putting it together and making the signal even stronger. So we're sending over 3 devices. That's why my connection probably today was a bit better than the last days. I think if we get like 3 phones and that router, maybe we're golden. We're still working on it. So please feel free to subscribe. Please support us. We need the money. Streaming pilot, put the name in and donate it, and we send that money to that guy or donate it to us directly, because we are hustling, man.
We are hustling.
We are hustling
my
here.
man right here is fresh off endorphins, so we're gonna let him hydrate. And I've just been given confirmation that Kuba Stowe, the leader of the gaggle, has been caught up by the chasing group as he was getting a bit lower over the historical town of Bassano del Grappa. So do share your love, support to everyone else involved, as my co-commentator Yele was telling you to do so. He'll be joining me in the commentary box very soon, guys. So if you like his energies, then there is more reasons to stick around, and if you don't, then even more, because we will figure out a way to bring you what you like in the most amazing manner possible. And over a period of time, I think we have decided to see that the gaggle has more or less slowed down, as Yele was mentioning us, that the flats are turning out to be a bit trickier, with some exceptions of lines working a bit better than the others. So what we can see is that more or less the whole gaggle is coming in together, and they have managed to more or less find a glide which are allowing them to climb back up to 1300 meters above ground level. So this is very exciting to see that most of them still finding enough height. And Brett Janaway, who happens to be the architect of the sports racing series, also finding himself collecting a lot of leading points right here in the front. So I think more or less the distance from here to the next turn point is a mere formality, considering the speed of racing right now, because the turn point from here to the next one is almost a 10-kilometer line which will be followed. Now this 10-kilometer line is what's really interesting, because it's heading back towards the big mountain in the northwest direction. Now this northwest direction is where we usually see strong climbs coming in, and right now we are almost hitting 2:30 local time. So depending upon wherever you're joining us from, do let us know in the comment section where you're joining us from, and then we can see what exactly will be given to the pilots in time to come. So without further ado, we have our leaders heading over to the next turn point, and we will be sure to bringing you in-flight commentary, because right now we have Arcudius joining us at 700 meters above ground level. So what's really interesting here to see is that Arcudius is able to still turn pretty tightly. That means he has managed to find the core. And I think one thing that I would like to mention is that it's been a little more than an hour, if I'm not mistaken. I'm waiting for confirmation from the team to tell me how long it has been, and I think a little more than an hour has elapsed, or almost an hour has elapsed since the race start, where we are able to see 1 hour and 10-minute mark, with most of the field flying at least 50% of the task, or 60% if I'm not mistaken, because there are realistically only two more turn points that are available for these guys to be tagged. And I think one thing that is really important to mention here is that next turn point is the big one, which is heading towards the big mountains in the northwest direction, and after that it is more or less a race to goal, which will come at an elevated finish line. Because one thing is important to tell you, that this is one of the first competitions in the sport of paragliding where we have let go of the where we have let go of the end of speed section. Now elevated goal is one of those options that has been presented to the field here, where you come in a little bit higher than everyone else except everyone else. So I'm gonna request my producers to switch over to me to just show you guys the current lead gaggle, because I want to show you a little bit of a difference between the gaggle and the chasing group. Over a period of time, we have consistently seen this difference expand from 1 kilometer to 2, and eventually as the turn point second and third came through, it went over to 5. So let's try and make a ruler and see where exactly is the distance, and currently that has increased to 7 kilometers. So slowly the ones in the front who are leapfrogging the leaders time and again are managing to pull out even more further. So I think it'll be very interesting to bring you more live and exclusive updates. But before we do that, I quickly want to cut across to my co-commentator Jelle Johansson, who has coming off fresh from the air. Jelle,
Coming in hot.
coming in hard is what you have literally done. But Jelle, how was the vibe and the kind of strategy just before the launch for big pilots?
For big pilots? Now I want to know what are the small pilots. No, like, honestly, it was really impressive to see how they were all like kind of floating under one cloud, which was like kind of dissipating, weakening, like dying out, we say, when you see them. They form when a thermal is in its push and strong, and then it has a cycle of like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and they were all in there. And when I arrived to them, it just dissipated. So they had to search for more, and everything like spread out. Had to find a good position, but still the start of speed section, the SSS, was a little bit further out. So there were different tactics, and you saw them like when they started the race, crossed the first line to start the race. You saw there were many height differences because of this like moment, just like 5 minutes before race. I caught up with them just in time. That they didn't really know like, okay, where will be the next lift, and so that spread the field a little bit, but still was very close. I think we don't have any big dropouts. How many people landed until now?
I think we had a check about 10-15 minutes ago, and we had 3 confirmed landings. We're gonna ask
That's
our team
nothing
to
for a
tell
competition.
you.
That's nothing, right?
Indeed, it is nothing. And I think I want to clarify one thing here with the name Big Pilots. What I really meant is the pilots flying the larger glider size, because when it is such a thermic and strong day, it negates the climbing advantage that the big glider sizes have. So this is one of those days which kind of equates the field, and a lot of tactics come in. So this is one of those moments in the racing where carrying a ballast can only help you in increasing the speed. And one thing, the reason why I asked you the question is that we have consistently seen very high average speeds as well. What we can see on our screen right now is Simon Steiner cruising in at more than 48 kilometers per hour at times, and this is when he's off the bar. So a lot of times these gliders are still able to manage pretty high speed glides regardless of the ballast. So smaller pilots have been given a chance on this day to negate the advantage, and what we can see is that Simon has positioned himself fairly high. So my next question to you, Jelle, is that how did the maintenance of height look like today, and what was it? Was it more like ridge racing, close, because the dynamic lift was pretty good as well, or was it a mix of thermic component? How was it maintaining the height when you went towards chasing the next turn point?
You had like these little hills worked quite well. You know, we have a map. Love it.
Yes.
Can we? No, it's fine. I think it's. Oh, you did exactly what I wanted to have. That's perfect. Dropping in the mouse. We have these little hills up here, and we have. We also have that right. Where are we? Bassano here. We also have these little hills there, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I pushed out the last days a couple of times to try them out, how they're doing and how it's rolling, and so I had some days where there was nothing out there, and today it really worked and it reached high. I was like at 1,000 meters, and it was a good lifty line following this ridge, and you saw that also most of the people follow that ridge line. Here you have the same thing. You have the optimized line when you come from these hills. Even some people went in the front, maybe. I'm not sure, but do we have the tracks on of our live pilots? Or do we have it on another?
The tracks are a bit of a hit and miss, but our team is trying and establish contact. So
Perfect.
we will be bringing you live contact from the air very soon. But I think one thing that I really want to mention here is that this area was a bit of a hit and a miss the past few days due to the conditions. So today, finally, the task committee managed to set a 65-kilometer racing task, and this area has suddenly come into the play. Is this because of the weather conditions yesterday, or like how?
We have a southerly wind, so it's like pushing all the heat here towards the mountains, and this is the first trigger point. This is also here the first trigger point. We had the start of speed section. Is this the yellow one? Yeah. So these are the little small hills here. And we had this as the real start. Hello again. So these little hills here delivered quite nicely. They pushed all that heat up here and triggered off. So we had this line here, and it was nice and lifty and just dissipated towards the valley crossing. So that was key. Positioning yourself in the right 100 meters left or right to have the right good gliding angle and arrive over the antenna at Bassano. That was key. Like the people who didn't arrive over the antenna, like could like just skim over the top and get the good climb over the top there. They were slowed down. Like the best guys I saw doing it. I'm just steaming at that for a sec. Maybe I can handle a little bit. Was right here. The move to make it further and go in this section here where it just was delivering. You could ridge run this perfectly. So this was the first decision moment, the first hard moment to get it. I wasn't high enough. I had to recharge a little bit, and it was a bit too low. And I was under the 1,000 meters, so it wasn't working well. When you arrived at a good height and arrived here at the ridge height of over 1,000 meters, boom, you go straight, you go dolphin style, you go straight. And they were very quick to come out here again, but quite low, pushed low. But I'm very surprised they didn't really land. Like we have 3 casualties, but that's for that push. Nothing.
Yeah, I'd like to clarify, casualties means bomb out the pilots who have kind of already been classified out of the race. And one thing that I would like to mention here is that the SRS system does not have any discard option. This is one of those competitions which do not let you discard your last worst score.
So it's about consistency.
It is about consistency, but it does let you discard your seasonal score. So,
that's right.
So the pilots who are racing in this competition have a chance to mess up the whole week, but not a single day.
That's
but
right.
I think
but Paul, if I can do the transition,
who is also heading to the ridge right now and is one of the leaders. We'll be sure to bring you the tracks right in front. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch over the view so that it becomes easier for us to find, because Paul has been setting trends in various parts of the race. So I'm just gonna...
If you weren't already tuned in at the takeoff, I had a little moment with Paul talking to him, and he is not doing the whole season. He's just doing this event now. And so I kind of wanted to trigger him and ask him like, so it's just about getting now the task wins, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa, and I was like, come on, give us something. And he was like, okay, right, let's do it. So let's see if he's doing the right thing now.
Yes, exactly. We have confirmation that Paul Tuckert is...
Yeah, sorry.
I beg your pardon, a bit of a technical glitch
It's
there
fine.
on my end, but Paul Tuckert is the race leader right now at an average altitude of... Ooh la la, that is looking a bit glitchy because he is a bit higher, but let's say the terrain close to him is at least 400 meters above.
Isn't that where the start is?
As you can see, the contour lines show us 500 meters, so he is scratching pretty low.
Can you zoom a little bit out? Where's the start? Where was the takeoff?
The start is somewhere here, so he is heading over back to the mountains, trying to connect a much faster line, because as I think most of this gaggle has realized is that this line is working a bit slower than expected. And as you were mentioning, the dolphin style of flying is a bit more easier today on the mountains than it is on the flats, regardless of the cloud streets that have been forming. Now, one thing, JJ, I would like to talk to you is that retrieve drivers are the real heroes of a day like this today. So when the field is spread out so far and wide, how much difficult does life become for the ones who are helping us out to not be afraid of the heat?
just a little shout out to our one and only and angel volunteer Diego, who's the driver who gets us up every time with some of the pilots, but also gets our guy Giovanni. I hope he's arriving soon. Already is there, maybe. Down again. He's golden. So please, if you want to help him out, he's just golden. Do a donation with his name Diego, and we get the money to him because he was a lifesaver. But like retrieving all those pilots, if you have a day like we had one where there was I think 100 pilots bombing out over a course line that was much bigger than this one. I think it was 80k or something. So this one was right until the end of the ridge here. We were going all the way there, and the pilots were bombing all over the place. Diego had to drive 14 hours, okay? And so if the field is stretched wide and everywhere people are bombing out, then it's a mess. And they have, I think, 3 cars that can cover it. And if those cars are full, they have to return and go back out. So it's a big, busy business. And those guys are the real hero, let's be honest. Can you click on Paul? I want to know if he's making it up or down.
Yeah, so basically Paul Tuckers is doing his own thing and he has managed to gain a bit of an altitude, and while you're doing that,
it's this one,
Zele, I'm gonna give the control over to you for a bit while I try to make connection with the fellow pilots who are in the air. So
yes,
we are
please.
trying to bring in some live commentary. Stick with my main man Jelle Johansson here with the visuals of our Polish pilot Arcadius coming to you at an altitude of 1100 meters above the town of Bassano del Grappa, fairly high in the sky, and we'll be sure to attempt some coverage options and see where exactly are they in the cell tower options.
Do we have, it's my first time here since we have the whole setup, do we have a visual on all the streams, like who is live still from our pilots? Because I saw with Arek. Arek is really nice. I had some nice chats with him. Thank you very much. Big shout out to Marie. She's saving our eyes right now. It's perfect. Her boyfriend is flying right now. I don't know how he's doing, by the way. Let's get the gossip going. If she's proud of him or if she's thinking that's fuck up. But anyway, Arek is our most consistent Skywalk pilot with the live streaming on the head for us. Yesterday he was filming himself. We saw a little bit of shaky and a little bit of disappointment sometimes, but it was still in the goods. The task was cancelled, by the way, yesterday. But today we have Arek in there, and we also have Matthias Helm. He is a really cool guy. I think both are willing to talk. Maybe we have the best chance with Matthias Helm if we have the best connection. They're working on it right now. Let's give them a bit of time. Let's talk about Matthias Helm. I don't know. That guy is just awesome. I met him on takeoff and I was like, who's that guy? He's an extrovert, he is talkative, he goes for it, and I hope we get the best possible solution. We are trying out 3 solutions now to reach the pilots. This is a trial and error. Let us know what works best for you guys. What is the best way to do things? Also, I wanted to ask you, please write it in the chat or let us know in any way possible, like mail and everything is open, Instagrams, accounts, just write us, please let us know. Is it better for you guys to have an overview map like this? Maybe we could work with beamers and put it even bigger, or on the tablet that is right here reachable for me and I can scoop around. By the way, I want to do that right now. Let's take a look. So, we're still live. Arek is a bit glitchy. Matthias Helm is still online, so hopefully we get him online. Let me know when we switch and when we can talk to him. Let me just check in with the live tracking. You're right with me here. Okay, here is... Oh, we have Paul Takas, currently rank 90. When he arrived at that hill right next to the takeoff, he was rank 1. That's how fast this goes. It's always like the ranking is calculated from the distance to the next turn point. Okay, I think the altitude is not even counted in that, so let's bear that in mind. Maybe the others are very low, maybe they're very high. In fact, I want to check that right now. Paul Takas is at an altitude of 476. Shall we switch? I'm not sure yet. We have something coming in from Matthias. Eager to hear if that works out. I'm so. By the way, shout out to Helena. We had her live, but for now she seems to be. Cool. Somebody talking to me? I don't hear him right now. How?
Is ready, but we cannot. We can connect him to him on the 20. Is he on the 20 ready?
I see him there. How do I hear him? You have it for me? Like, can you hear it?
No. Okay, if you can
We're working on it.
If you can switch it from the scenes.
Okay, production, please, let's try this out. Put Matthias in full screen, me as a head in the back or whatever, or split screen, we don't care. Just get Matthias on there because the stream is looking good. Now we try to call him in some way. I remember we have for Matthias, we have mainly Zello, which is the best communication right now for us. That means I should try to get my Giovanni. Big shout out to our helper in the on takeoff on IT. Without him, like no camera would be working. Yeah, let's put it on speaker and let's try it out. Come on, let's see what he's telling. I just hold you close to my heart and close to my mic. Let's go like that. Oh, we even have a separate what? We even have a separate one here. So we want to talk to Matthias Helm. This is the chat. Let's go on the story. Let's see what he already had.
I'm here. I can hear you. Hold on, trying to get it done a bit.
Okay, so he's thermaling. No, did we lose? Oh, we just lost him. Fuck. Now we are with Adek. All right, Adek, has he cello? What's a message for Adek? Okay. Do we have his contact? Wow, somebody's prepared. I love this. Awesome. Okay, we're working on it. Bear with me. Let's take a look at in the meantime. Can we get audio on the stream of Adek, please? It's the number 1. And let's listen in to him. Can we turn our stream somewhere on so we hear what he's saying, maybe? We work on it. Probably now we have a double talking me and talking him. But let's see. Production, let me know when it's time to switch to that. So, back to Paul Takas, back to the whole live tracking here. We're still in a good way. Marcus Anders seems to be in the lead. They are pushing the little hills on the front while we're trying to get the communication back. We have another feed on Matthias Helm. I will try again. So, let's try together. Matze, can you hear me? Ah ouais, ouais, pas c'est tout en français ici. Maintenant le bouton en français. Matze, can you hear me? It's Yele and Aninder in the communication box. Commentary box, I'm sorry. I'm nervous right now. Come in.
Alright guys, while we are waiting Matze's return back to our feed, what we can see is that there is a split screen view that our producers have put on in front of us, and we have the feed of the pilot from Matthias, who's joining us at about 800 meters above ground level.
That's a good height to work with, especially in these hills out front. Let's see if we can pull them up here on the screen. How is the searching? Can we search them? It's like here on the side? No.
So we gotta go to ranking. There we go.
Working on it.
Just punch in the name here and then you find the pilot. But guys, one thing I would like to mention here is that the race behind us has been going at a screaming pace. So I'm just gonna refresh the feed and see where exactly the pilots are right now, because right now we do see quite a lot of pilots moving further closer to the final turn point. And one thing that is very important to see here is that majority of them have finally figured out a way to go towards the mountainous regions rather than the flats. So Christian Durant has somehow managed to come back towards the gaggle after a bit of a slow phase in the race, and Christian Sarge Durant has followed, has just tagged the second turn point. I have his confirmation. So he is about 3.6 kilometers behind the leaders as the crow flies, but I think it'll be very interesting to see the line that he chooses, because a lot of times choosing correct lines can be decisive in such situations. So we are trying to establish contact with a lot of pilots as well. So while we are talking about this, let's try and have a phone call with Christian Sarge Durant and see if we are able to get through to him and figure out how to get this going. So I'm going to put this call on speaker for all of us to listen to and figure out if Sarge Durant is able to reply to us.
Give it again. It's Mats? No? Okay. Working on it. Communication.
So we are trying to establish contact with multiple pilots, because I think when they are above the town of Bassano del Grappa, we have confirmation that Sarge Durant can hear us. Sarge, we see you have just tagged one of the turn points. How is the conditions at that turn point right now?
Dark shadow area of the track, so it's not really ready. I'm waiting for clouds to move. Hopefully I can even give me some sun. So it's a bit of a waiting game. It's a pretty strong westerly here, so I'm able to steer this little ridge. And the turn immediately to my southwest on it, the name of it is, but it's a pretty good section, and I'm hoping it'll turn on once the sun comes up. It's a bit of a survival game right now, and not going too well.
Sarge, I understand there's a bit of a headwind, but as soon as this turn point is tagged, it will be tailwind all the way to the goal. Any specific strategy for that leg of the race? Because it seems you are catching up to the leaders after a bit of a slow phase later on in the race.
Yeah, I made up some good time, but this is not good right now. Just a bit out of sync with the thermals. The strategy is I want to get up as high as I can. There's a bit resting room stronger at height, so I need to get really high. Try and use that timing to catch that lead gather, which I'm rapidly losing contact with right now as I survive on this little hill.
Well, you have our wishes with you, Sarge. We are rooting for you here at the commentary box. And it's inspiring to see Paul Takats lead the way. Any specific moves that made Paul catch up and collect all the leading points as he is doing right now?
Yeah, we crossed the original, the main valley together, the Bassano del Grappa valley. Ooh, that sounds good. Stand by. I'm going over the town and picking up something here. We went over the big valley, we head to the thermal, and Paul's just got a much higher risk appetite than me, and he was really in thermal and then very close to the cliffs, and I just lost him straight away there. And I was pretty timid in the thermal and gave away a lot of advantage.
I understand, Sarge. Well, if it makes you feel better, Paul Takas is in the lead and managing to stay at the altitude of almost 800 meter MSL towards the last turn point. So we are looking forward for you to rejoining them and head towards the commentary box later on. Good luck for the remaining part of the race, Sarge.
I just got confirmation. Have a good flight there. See you in Goal.
Thanks, guys.
Woo!
Bye.
Go, man. Go, Sarge. Go, Sarge.
All right, guys. That was one of the
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Yeah.
early leaders of the race joining us, Sarge, Christian Durant, telling us how the conditions were. And I think one thing that was really important was how Sarge was mentioning the headwinds, trying to make conditions a bit more tougher towards the west side of the racetrack. So if I'm just going to zoom out and just show you, when I started the commentary earlier on in the racetrack, it was mentioned that it's a 65 kilometer task with the first leg heading eastwards towards the summit of Monte Grappa, which also happens to be the highest point of the race. So that was a fairly fast tailwind leg, and as you were mentioning, Yele, that there was nothing but free dynamic dolphin able lift And after that, it was a bit of a south tricky leg into the wind, a bit towards the southwest direction. But by that time, leaders were still coming in fairly high, so the wind shear was not affecting that much. I think where the
also
dynamics,
the wind direction, like the wind forces on the altitude, it's a bit different.
Indeed, that's what I'm saying. I think that is where Sarge kind of played it wrong and finally had to more or less cover up in the area towards the town of Bassano del Grappa, which was directly in the wind. And that is why we see...
Did he get low here and push low?
That is correct. He basically tried some moves early on when the thermic lift was really high, and as you can see, Matthias Helms is joining us on the screen right now, which is showing that if you are high above the ground level, where he's at an altitude of almost 1400 meters, we are trying to get his track position as well at time to come, but
he's right there with three of our guys. He's right there with Matthias Helm, Mark Jonaway, and Arek. They're all in the same thermal. Which is the one that they also used just before entering the start of the race, the SSS.
I think I'm going to request my producers to switch over to the tablet view so that we are able to share the screen with you guys and show you the location of these pilots and the gaggle that is collectively heading towards one of the last turn points.
Otherwise,
guys.
we can show it here. It's this gaggle here. We have Arek, which is Arcadius. It's much shorter. It's Arek. Like Matthias Helm, it's Mats, so you know, and Mark is Mark, which is just a cool guy with his Tigra cruising around here at an altitude of 1,100 meters, and the others are a little bit higher, 200 meters higher, at 1,300.
Guys, we have confirmation that Paul is finally leading in the front. There are almost two gaggles forming more or less. Basically, this is real-time live tracking. If I can show you, what the leaders have done is instead of taking the flats, they have gone back to the mountains, and here we see a tiny bit of a split coming up, and this split is not too much, but if I'm supposed to tell you, this is almost 600 meters on the ground level as the crow flies when it comes to line of sight. So a fair bit of difference forming between the two gaggles, and the thing between them is that Paul has closely being chased by the catching up group, and Luke, Nicole and Tyr are one of those two pilots that are in one of the catching up groups. Tyr being the son of Bruce Goldsmith, the owner of BGD, and we can see that Tyr and Luke Nicole are almost at the turn point. So a lot of exciting racing action coming in just before the final part of the race. Yes,
and it's even more interesting. I'm sorry, Paltakas is not in the front. There are two guys who are making the race right now really interesting, because we have that guy here in the front who's all alone at an altitude of 1,400? Can that be?
I beg your pardon. I'm so glad for you pointed that out.
It's altitude of 570, so he's fairly low. He's just scratching those hills here up front. He was in the lead just a couple of seconds ago. Now it's back to Luke and Paul, I think. Let's click on that one. Who is that? Tyr Goldsmith. What's going on? No, I'm completely.
All right, guys, just to get you caught up on this, basically, I think no matter how hard this line looks, Douglas has somehow managed to collect the most leading points, because one thing is very important, as I've mentioned time and again, is the leading points come in best when you're closest to the most optimal line. So even though Douglas has been finding himself at an altitude of almost 221 meters, he will be in an advantageous position. But what's going to be really important is that Tyr has just tagged the turn point, and right now it is more or less just a race to goal with a small little leg of a turn point which comes at a distance of somewhere around 6 kilometer mark, after which it is a straightforward glide to the ESS.
And the goal at the same time, which is 200 meters elevated. This is a special thing here at the SS. It's the first tryout. It's to make everything a bit more secure for the pilots, so they don't race to make the goal line.
Breaking news coming in, guys. Another big name has hit the ground softly. Let me clarify that. There has been a bomb out confirmed of the Skywalk official athlete, Marcus Anders. Marcus Anders has been one of those pilots who has gone out and proven his name in the sport of paragliding, be it hike and fly, be it cross-country racing.
In X-Alps, in X-Pier, everywhere. and I was just talking to him on takeoff. We were talking together, and we were talking about the task win, please. And this is a really hard hit. He will be fine. He's a professional. It's totally cool. And let's be honest, he was racing already 2 weeks in the PVC in Spain, coming now here to do this SRS for 1 week. I think he has 1 week, and then he has immediately another competition.
The hike and fly competition.
That is also coming up. Like, he has a calendar full of competitions. I'm surprised that the guy is still standing. He was going back and forth to the main Skywalk. By the way, thanks for this nice hat. Main headquarter, and coming here and flying to Spain. It's a crazy stuff. And he was a little bit tired, but still in a good mood, as you saw in the interview. And it's yeah, we bear with you. We at least know that that Diego and all the cool retrieve guys are making a great job. We see also the car is right next to him, is it?
That is why I wanted to give these guys a shout out, that because of the real live tracking that we have, which is without delay, which is the same that our retrieve drivers access, these guys are able to be right on point. So I must mention that there are only 2 retrieve drivers for a field of 130 pilots out there. And as you were mentioning, you know, people like Marcus Anders, retrieve drivers, everyone else behind the scenes here at Paragliding Live are the reason why we are able to create so much magic all together. So be sure to show us your support wherever you're joining us from. We're streaming this at multiple platforms: Twitch, Instagram, YouTube. And if you want to find out more, head over to paraglidinglive.com. All the information is there, and do not forget to do your own bit. We have opened up a donation link as well, which follows by the description that is mentioned in the description box below. It is at paraglidinglive.com/donate. So a lot of more live coverage coming to your way. People like Yele and me are putting in the work, along with the amazing production team of Marco and Stefano sitting back home. So a big shout out to everyone involved in making this a possibility.
And to Ali, who is our new intern, to Giovanni doing all the IT, to Marie, who is just saving our ass here on the spot, and Serge, who is putting in the work in the air with us, to Helena from Skywalk, who's covering for photos and videos, and also giving a little bit less to us, but also carrying a live cam setup, which hopefully gets live sometime. Can you pull up the multi-view again? Perfect. Just so we can verify that Eric is back live on. Maybe we can do a quad screen, who knows? Let's see if Matthias is still on. Can we try reaching him again over Zello? Let's try and see if he's able to respond. We'll see. Otherwise, we just get a little message.
And I think I would like to take a mention here of Vanya. Vanya, the woman from Vanya Eggsvik, if I'm not taking that name.
Let me just
in a wrong
do this
way.
message. This is Mats. Mats, what am I doing? Yeah. Mats, can you give us a little impression how it's going on up there? Let's see if that works and reach him, and if there comes something back. So let's go to this leading woman, the female race. What's going on there? Okay, sorry, guys, we have 3 or 4 different races right now. So we have the overall man and like everybody together. We have the man category, which is put in the overall for now. We'll see. Ladies, go fly and fly more and become more, because this sport needs you. You fly better and safer, and we need to have a man's category because there are so many women. Let's go. So we have the female category, we have the overall category. We will play Mats in a sec, and we have the team category. How are we looking in the female category? You know that. I don't know that. Do you know that?
I beg your pardon. I've just been contacted by Mats, so let's try and get Mats up on the screen again. My production, if you're able to listen, we need Mats' video back on the screen, but we have confirmed connection with Mats. So one more time, let's have a chat with Mats. Here we go.
Working on it. No worries.
Alright guys, bear with us. Right now we are trying to figure out some technical glitches here from Mats with the connection that we have. So We will try and bring you more live and update coverage that is from in-air pilots as we are looking at the visuals in the multi-view. So
Let's try this one. I put the volume up. I played the message.
Mats, this is
Westmost endpoint, 1.7K. Now there's no thermals right now. It's a bit tricky now.
It's a bit tricky.
Mats, this is
Well, it's a bit tricky because of what? Did you guys hear that? No thermals. Oh shit! How high is he? Is it is it giving my theory some background, or is it just? Did we find him? Well, let's check him there. Whoopa. He was right over here. Oh, Mark Janaway on its way, so probably also Matt's on his way. I need to put that away.
Right,
yeah, Matthias. Oh, they're pushing low. They're pushing low. They're right here in the front. Oh, we are on SRS Live. That's also gorgeous.
SRS Live, yes.
Really nice.
there
So
is
the leaders are already on the way back here somewhere. We see that some arrows going that way. But down here we have right now Mark Janaway and Mats pushing for it on the low ridge side. That seemed to have been working because the guy who was pushing is, I think, him. Can you click on him? Marcus Sommerfeld. No, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Team Zero, by the way, they made a really good task win. I think that was their last valid task. So if somebody has, Murray, if you could pull up the ranking of the teams, if they're on click somewhere, that would be awesome. Because I have no idea how the female category and the team category is doing, and that's the other two races we are having right now. Is it good to, shall we put it on there? Do we have the time to, where would you?
so
there.
leaderboard.
All right. Should we? I'm new to this. I'm the new intern. Teams. There we go. Oh, it's the actual of now. Oh, damn. This is so good. Okay. So, Jin team is leading again. Ah, that's so boring. No, jokes aside. Marcus Sommerfeld, I think now in the leading position. Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know. Really, like they're doing better right now. Damn, they're crushing it. All the GTOs are crushing it. Damn, Al Nicole was quite in a good position before. Here we have the rankings. We have him in position 5 now, but that can change quick because right now the guys are in XC mode. But this is just until they have the last big thermal before going on full speed bar in the final glide. It will go quite quickly in the next couple of minutes. We have C. Lopez. I don't know who that guy is, but probably a really cool guy. Andre Leonas on 6th position, so like 3 guys in the top positions here. But it just changed. Netsu, did you hear of that team already?
Not yet, but I do understand that there have been quite some incredibly creative names in the competition so far. So Netsu seems to be quite a Polish name, and the whole team comprises of Polish racing pilots, which has found himself in the team position number 3. But I think one thing that I would like to tell our viewers is that almost a lot of these teams have one of the pilots in the lead gaggle, and the most distance that they are focusing right now is that they're almost 6 kilometers away from the next turn point, which, as my co-commentator was mentioning, as JJ was mentioning, that is just a mere formality before they all go full bar towards the elevated goal at the end of the race.
Little fun fact. This kitchen is the team of Paltakas with just one another pilot, but they're both in such a good position together that they're making better work than Atrium, Skywalk and Alpine Wings of the other teams, which have people in the front, but for the other guys are not bringing up enough points as far as now. So this is, we really need to take a look at that. But let's go back because I need the female scoring.
Yeah, so while we are working on that, I would like to quickly help our viewers get caught up on the female overall ranking after task 3, because task 4 yesterday was cancelled, so that's why the results from that are not in effect. Today we are still looking at the leaderboard where Vanya Eksvik from Norway is leading the scoring board with 2,142 points, followed closely by Riley Ferre from the USA, who happens to be a Jin team pilot, not too far behind with just a distance of 19 points from the leader.
Exactly. Just producers, please put up, if possible, if the connection holds, Simon Steiner, into our screens, so we can check him out, because he's right at the turn point right now. You know, we have Arek and Simon Steiner, like one of those guys. If he's streaming, pull him up, please, because they are showing right now the action at that further out turn point, and I think there's a lot of nice stuff to see.
I would like to switch over to actual live tracking because the Flymaster public one is deferred by 4 minutes. So
thank you.
We would like to figure out where exactly the gaggle is heading. What we can see is that the whole race is spread over the safer mountain regions where the lift is much more reliable to be found. So tagging the next turn point will be quite interesting, as they will have to come back inevitably towards the city center of Bassano del Grappa before making the race to goal. But I think the strategy here will be very interesting to see, where most of these pilots are heading higher up in the mountains, doing a quick run to the city center, and thereafter it's a fairly straightforward final glide to an elevated goal.
Exactly. Where are we now with the imagery? We're with Simon Steiner. Thank you so much, Stefan. I should have said your name. I'm so sorry, guy. But we're doing a great job of covering that shit right now. So, what do we see right now with Simon? I need to pull it up a little bit bigger. Bear with me in 1 sec. There we go. We see some of the pilots around. We're heading he's still heading out for the turn point, if I'm not mistaken. Or is he thermaling right now? They are thermaling. They are at a height of 600 meters and thermaling something that doesn't look like a ripper. It's not a very strong climb as far as I can say. So I think they have to take it slow, because still further up it's working well, but it's hard to get up there. So if you go low and fast, then you have to take your time with some climbs there.
Alright guys, while we're talking about climbs, let's follow the leader Paul Takats, who is no longer right there in the lead gaggle but find himself in the middle. So if you look at the red arrow in the center of our screen, that's a bunch of pilots who are able to make their way and gain some height. But while we have a visual of Simon Steiner, I'm going to try and look him up in the leaderboard and see where exactly is Simon Steiner, who finds himself in position number 32 right now. So we're going to quickly head over to Simon Steiner, who is at an AGL of 500 meters. So a healthy above ground level height that Simon has followed, and fairly fast speed as well that we are seeing from Simon JJ. So where exactly is the strategy looking like for Simon so far compared to the leaders who are heading further deeper into the mountains as we speak?
Right now it's a bit like he's doing this a little small valley crossing here, coming up to the front ridge. Here it's a little bit, here you have the choice of this little front ridge here and the back ridge. And this is showing us right now like the difference where they can make a lot of time and a lot of speed. Because we have still to decide. I'm not sure right now what is working better, if the front one is better or the back. We have more people on the back, and the leaders took the back, and they're right now doing this very fairly and very, very well. So probably the back was the better one, because higher terrain, better thermals, and better ridge running, dolphining. And we see Simon coming on here on his own, and honestly, that's not what you want to happen. You want to be controlling. You want to be like some of those guys here, heading towards, like Paul Takats, towards the valley.
I'm just going to stop you for a bit, because we have visuals from Simon Steiner. We were talking about valley crossing. So while we are looking at these visuals right now, what exactly would be a strategy for a pilot to look at those valley crossing, and how would it work?
You want to know where you have to, where you find the next thermal, the next access point. You want to not get blocked by any ridge. You want to make the valley crossing high in general. But of course, in these days when you're racing, sometimes you rely on your experience, of course, but also there's a little bit of hope included, right? So I think he's hoping now for something, because he's alone. He has a lot of data around him. where we're talking about data, like when you have other pilots flying around, and in the best cases underneath you.
Observations,
So,
basically.
observation, yeah, controlling them, seeing like when somebody of them catches the thermal, then you're on top of them, taking the same thermal, and you're out again quicker than the guy who found the thermal. That is controlling.
All right, guys, I quickly want to cut across to the race leader, Tyr Goldsmith, who is flying a combination of Tigra and submarine at an above ground level altitude of 461. So very healthy height from Tyr, who is basically being very enthusiastic about taking a line which is of his own. He is looking at a very interesting valley crossing. So as you mentioned, you know, valley crossings can be a bit tricky, but the longer ones which are like this, especially on a day where you are facing a bit of a crosswind from southwest, what would be the most optimal point here according to you, JJ? Because you have flown this area earlier today, and right now we see that he's in a -2 sync currently.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. We were at around 1,000 meters, some people, pretty low, and I think you can easily reconnect here. But that's not the task. The task is to fly out here, if I'm getting it right. And that's a very interesting line that he's doing it, because he's out in the front. I felt a little bit of southwesterly wind, so going a little bit like this. And so it was helping for the valley crossing, but right now I think he took it a little bit too far. He's still high, he will still make this point, but he has also, he needs this area to work well, which it can. Bassano del Grappa is a beautiful town, by the way. You should visit it. The river is beautiful, the old town is beautiful, but it's also heating up a lot in the sun. It's excruciating heat that we're having out there. And this area, pushed by the wind, we should be expecting some thermals here. By the way, we have some people there around. Let's see if they're at a good altitude. No, that guy is bombing out probably. This guy, could he indicate? Yeah, he could. If that guy indicates a thermal here, this guy is our winner. Tyr will do the race and will be the winner.
I think what I would like to point out here, JJ, is that while Tyr is being very brave and trying to figure out a more in-depth line, there are few pilots who are also there up in the leader group who are trying to take a bit more direct line towards the turn point. Because but one thing again I would like to mention is that the most amount of points are coming in when you are following the most optimal line. So Tyr, while he might have taken a deeper route and collected a lot of altitude coming in, the leaders are in quite a favorable condition when it comes to collecting the points before going in for the final glide. So let's have a look at the visuals from Matthias Helms, that where exactly is this kind of cloud formation look like. So I'm just going to try and pull up our leaderboard and look where Matthias is. And right now we do not see him in the top 30, so fairly finding himself a little bit lower than planned earlier. We have Matthias confirmed in position number 52, riding with a thermal circling, as you can see him right now, in a plus 1.6 meters per second lift,
which is not that strong. Today should have a lot. Okay, I'm receiving almost in goal. How is this happening? Crazy. Yeah, but now I got confused.
So basically I'm gonna get back to Matthias while we are clarifying where exactly is Tyr's position. So I'm gonna let you look that up on this tablet, JJ. That where exactly is Matthias.
2 minutes, I think.
And right now Matthias Helm is still on his way to tag the second last turn point. So while everyone else has taken a more higher up indirect line from the bigger mountains, Matthias has managed to take a more direct line. I think what will be really interesting is to try and talk to Ulrich Jessop, as Ulrich has designed the scoring of paragliding for quite a long time. So all of these pilots have more or less figured out their own comfort zone of which line to take and which way to go, but eventually at the end of the day, scoring is what will decide what the leaderboard is, which comprises of multiple dynamics, which are the time points, the goal points, and also the speed points. And while this is happening, I would like to take a fan comment which Dedes Loma 7 has mentioned that Carlos Lopez is an incredible Portuguese pilot. So thank you for giving a shout out, Dedes, to Carlos. We'll be sure to pass on your message to him when he lands further out. And he has a podium, confirmed podium according to Dedes in SRS Colombia, which also happens to be one of the most amazing flying sites where this tournament or the sports class racing series has gone out and explored. So JJ, a very interesting sporting kind of development for the paragliding. But what's the most amazing things about going out to different places and seeing them from above for you?
Oh man, it's awesome to get to know places while flying. That's so good. Honestly, I discovered Switzerland, where I'm currently living, and also learned to fly. I discovered the geography and the mountains because of flying. But I just need to emphasize, Cheer is making the magic move. He's right now probably already arriving at goal. He's right on top of us. I think we have to go out.
We should go out. Let us find and collect every single thing that we have with us to
Production,
make sure.
please check out the reacro cam. Maybe we get a good shot there. Maybe we need to do a split screen or something. Thank you.
While we are doing so, JJ, I'm just gonna let you go and more or less figure out how it looks from the outside. So just take this with you. We will look at the routers we have so that we don't lose any communication. So do not go too far, JJ. Just stick with me for a bit.
Running away from you, no problem. Whoopa. So
I
need my glasses.
I think the very interesting part here is that most of the pilots are still tagging some turn points, whereas Tier is already making goals. So we will be very sure to follow him and bring you all the updates from the first in goal pilot. So a lot to look forward to, and I'm just gonna wait and see who exactly is connected. Which one is connected to that? Just bear with us for
It's
a
just
moment.
coming in there, no? But is that already the goal line, or does he still need to tag it now? He already tagged it. Oh my God! Look up there. Well, let's put you guys up on the back foreground. There we go. Chop, 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 chop. Up there. We're working it out. On the go.
Bring it down. I want to see which Wi-Fi is it. SRS.
Good. We're still working on the connectivity, but we got you live and running, and hopefully having a good time. Let me get that right. Okay. So you guys see that glider over there? That's our Mr. T. Man. He just made the race, and with some magic moves. Unbelievable. Right behind, honestly, I'm not sure if this pilot is taking part of the race. We didn't have him on the radar. Hopefully, we know in a sec who it was exactly. Taking over, give it to you.
Go on. All right, guys. So we're gonna just go ahead and figure out where exactly the leaders are, and at any given point in time, we're gonna see some of these pilots come in towards the goal and bring you all the details. I, along with my co-commentator JJ, will be bringing you live updates from the pilots in goal. So this is one of the most interesting parts of the race, where it gets thick of the action. So do stay tuned. Some incredible visuals are coming your way, and all of this is coming to you live and exclusive, courtesy of Paragliding Live from the landing fields of Garden Reales here in Italy. Bassano del Grappa, the town which has supported the art of free flight for generations in a row in the Venetian skies. So we will be sure to bringing you all the details, and I think we are trying to find...
Oh, we need her. Come on, let's go.
Yes, we do already. So basically, we have another Skywalk team pilot joining us.
Oh, he's not he's just walking. He's too cool. Helena, you weren't there much longer than I was. What were you doing up there? We have the first leader there in the in goal already, spiraling down. Maybe you take a shot of that. I mean, that's good enough. Take a shot. On the Tigra. The Tigra winning with ways. Oh my God, the race was won by a Tigra. We love that. It's always good to start with a bang for a glider that just came out and needs some publicity. Let's go. But Helena, while we're watching that glider in its beautiful color, what do you say about today's conditions and about the race?
it was nice. There were strong conditions or bumpy conditions in between. It was a little bit tricky if you started late, but then when you got up there to the start gale, worked pretty well. Like all the way through the eastern turn point was pretty easy, I might say. On the way back, they went through the flatlands.
You didn't?
I did.
All right, all in.
I was like, I shortcutted. I took some videos, took some photos, and then I lost the gaggle a little bit, which would have been no issue because I would have just waited over there on the hill to let them come back and catch them. But while I was over Bassano and I turned around and I went back here, I had 4 meters per second the whole way.
And that's the info that probably should have leaked to other pilots, because like if they know this, they just go fucking low for the next for the last turn point there, and they will just reach it easily. So if anybody of the pilots in the air is watching right now, we let you know that you can just go low.
No. I had
Down?
5 meters per second down.
Oh, sorry. The opposite is the case. Going high, otherwise you die. All right. I didn't know that. Okay, so what we're having now is Tier Goldsmith just landing. We have... Oh, now I'm getting confused on the live track.
Guys, while we are talking about this, we also have confirmation that women, the leading woman, Vanya Esevik, have almost tagged the last turn point. So
Exactly.
a lot of exciting racing action coming up in this race.
We
so
already
far.
have 3 pilots in goal that are in the first position, Tier Goldsmith. Second position, Viparina, sorry. Third position, C. Lopez. And coming in hot just behind him, Furbereyer. I'm so sorry that I don't know the names exactly, but you got it. And this is Tier, and let's talk to him. Oh my god, they're dropping hot. We will have at least the first 11 pilots. Oh, scratch that. 15 pilots in the next 1 minute in goal. Oh my god, look at this glider. It's beautiful. Well done. We were talking before. Come on, you smashed that. How was it?
Thanks, man. It was amazing. Conditions were incredible. It was pretty tough pushing upwind.
Yeah.
In the end, it was super good.
Yeah. How was the glide to go? Like, was it challenging or was it all right?
It was. I spent a lot of time climbing, so I had a lot of altitude before coming in.
You did a magic move there. What did you do?
Yeah. Well, Paul was pushing low in front, and then all the others were climbing high in the back, and I saw that the ridge was working. So I just saw I could overtake, and then it was just full speed all the way to the end.
Damn, well done, mate. Really like a
Thanks, man.
big shout out. Really good. And how was the Tigra for that race?
Flying good. I mean, what can I say?
Perfect. Thank you so much. Maybe we'll come back later to you. Let's switch around so we see all those guys coming in hot. We have a photo, and we have a GTO. It's a GTO team pilot. Who is it? Who is it? I want to know who it is. I need to check it out. You see in the back right now, if you go like big and high, we see the 10, I would say the first 10 pilots are already going for landing because they already reached goal. I'm just checking quickly how the ranking is going, reloading the page. And I'm back.
One more thing is that Vanya Esevik is the first woman in goal as well. So let's try and keep a lookout for her as well. She is the leader of the competition who is coming in first in goal. And let's try and keep a lookout of which glider is he flying. And the backdrop, we have Paul Tuckatz coming in and walking in with his setup. So
I think we need to talk to him because I already started to this stream with him. So let's get a quick little look, and then we have to go to Luke in a sec. Can we just get 2 words from you? How was it?
It was quite epic. I got low twice, but managed to recover and make it with the first ones.
Oh, really? Yeah, and
It was super risky for me though.
Oh, you liked a sweaty flight today, huh? Holy shit.
Damn! You just won the team ranking, I think. It stays more or less like it is right
Really?
now.
Nice.
So your team is in the lead right now. Congratulations! Oh shit, go in there. And another. So how was it for you?
Yeah, awesome. It was a fast racing at the front, lots of low, risky glides.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Where was the sweet spot of like the layer, the LA, the altitude?
It was It depended. Sometimes it worked low, sometimes high, but actually away from the ridge. The ridge is not working so well, and these clouds are just awesome.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much, and congratulations, mate. So good.
Who's in the lead?
In general, or in today's lead, like in the overall or in the task?
Right now in the leaderboard.
No, in Formula One.
I'm so confused right now, guys.
Leaderboard. Who came in first?
The first guy was Tier Goldsmith.
That legend.
Over there. It's just awesome. And let's get some more pilots. Come on, let's get in there. Can we risky as fuck? Did you hear that? So they were pushing hard in some way here. And yeah, let's say here, they will come to us. Let's check out for the women's category. I want to be back on that. Egesvik is in goal, confirmed. Yeah, I now have it too. Do we know what glider she is rocking?
Well, we'll just have to look and identify which glider it is.
Okay. So if somebody on production can tell me what glider she's on, that would be awesome. Maybe I'll find out on the teams. Team Terror. Well, I don't know. Speed, variant, distance, whatever. If we find a woman, we go. Brad, come on!
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. That was fun. A lot of fun.
Give us a little bit more. Where was the easiest to where it was the hardest?
The easiest is this.
That's
I was in the lead for the first 30%.
No way!
And then we get to there, and then it's flats, and I don't like flats.
And you have to switch gears.
So then, yeah, a big switch of gears. Yeah. So I was in the lead gaggle.
Yeah.
And then
I saw you push quite low.
Yeah, at the far end, me and a few others made a decision to go up the hill.
Yeah.
Because we'd had very little to show us the way. Yeah, we slowed down a lot then.
Yeah. But did they work, the little hills out there?
We floated. The flats were better.
Yeah.
But luckily I had 2 or 3 people ahead, so they were just showing where not to float. So I managed to do 5Ks at losing 10 meters.
And when did you get out of that floating and found the
I got stuck.
Thermal?
Tudor got me out of trouble. He found the climb. And then we managed to get back into the top 10-ish, I don't know. Maybe the lead out points will help.
Yeah,
but,
so good.
Yeah, Tudor's the man. Yesterday he messed me up. Today he saved me.
That's a good switching up again. Thank you so much. So happy to see your smile.
See you soon.
Do we want to take over? Shall we do a little switch? You're happy behind the camera. I don't know what screen time is going like. I want to get Ruth on the screen, but probably not today. Let's have a little chat. I want that woman. Egezika, where is she? Okay, we will see. We will see. I just saw Marco. We had a little chat with before. Let's see after the race how that changed. If it got better or worse. Let's see the two. Let's try to get the landings in the backdrop. Marco, let's strip you out of there. Yes. How was it? We talked before, and now you're here. You were in good positioning before, so
on my foresets, I don't know what I saw, like waiting at the ridge, and look what the others do now.
Who wants to wait? Come on, just race.
Right. So I just went into the flats. Was a bit low, but I find a good thermal to catch up with the other guys, and at the end, it was just a leading race schedule.
Yeah, good. You were in position 5 when I checked once. I think maybe once even further.
Yeah, maybe 5. But now I think I don't know, top 10, hopefully 15, something like that.
What happened? Why did you lose the positions?
Yeah, I flew a direct line, but it was not lifty. So all the guys who took a bypass over the mountains, the line was lifty.
It was the further out turn point. We saw some people doing this low line. Seemed to work, but not that well like the back. They could ridge run much more in the back.
Yeah, for sure. So the direct line wasn't floaty, so I did the direct line. But it's okay, find a nice thermal coming back.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, I get that you tried it because here out in the flats, it was working quite well in some ways. And also those little hills over there, they were quite lifty. So I guess that you tried that. I understand it. Really.
I tried everything, I think, now. Yeah, my idea was, hey, the flats are super lifty. Yeah. Just go the direct line, maybe you find a lift on the way. But wasn't it? It's okay.
You get lucky, you get sometimes not lucky, but it's fine. You're still with the leaders, you caught up again and you made it. So congratulations.
Okay.
Let's go.
Sure, guys.
Well, there we have the women's leader, Vanya Exwick, coming in to land. So go ahead and have a
Where
chat
is she?
with
Where is she? Where is she?
Vanya, the one with the Genie Race 5 and the ozone glider. So yes, we do.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
Well done. Like, how was it for you?
Really nice, good conditions today, fast and fun.
Yeah, I saw your red hair. Like I was circling above you guys, and you were like there, not totally in the leading gaggle, but like a little bit behind. But you made a good race. You caught up. How did you manage that?
I was just going. Trust my gut. Yeah, it was fun.
And like, where did you trust your gut, and it paid off? What decision was like paying off in trusting your gut?
I could tell you afterwards when I got.
All right, let's get you out of there. It's fine. Do you need help? Shall I help you? I mean, helping strip is always an important part of social life. Anyway, so let's see if we see some friendly faces here. We have another T-Grub pilot. We have some GTO pilots. Shall we get back to the winner of the race? We just had 3 questions with him. We can squeeze more out of him, shall we? Did you plan for this? Because we talked, and you weren't that confident.
Yeah.
And now you're standing here, the winner of the with a big lead. Yeah. What the freaking god? How did you do that?
I just kind of stayed with the gaggle, but still pushing the whole way. But I try to play it safe. And then I saw the opportunity to just go for it, and the timing was right, my altitude was right, and I just.
When was that decision? Where did you do that?
It was when after we tagged not the last turn point, the one before.
The further out is one, yeah.
No, the one just before that one. When we were coming back from the flats.
Ah, yeah.
And then we were like struggling in front of takeoff and really low. Like power went off really low, and he was really struggling in the wind. And we managed to get this really good climb, and there were many people above me. But then I saw Pal get a really good thermal out in front and really pushing on the ridge, so I just decided to go for it.
You're like, high ground, let's go.
Yeah, and nobody else in my group followed me, and I just kind of went full speed all the way to the end.
Because you could like ridge run it perfectly?
Yeah, I could ridge run it, and I was like reading the clap.
Push full bar like you did on these last 20 kilometers?
I think they did, but it was too late. I was already gone, I guess.
So the moment you saw Paul climbing well, and you decided to go, that was the end of the race, basically.
Pretty much.
Oh my goodness.
Then it turned around, full speed back to after takeoff. And then I got a really good climb with 2 beautiful birds, and I just made it quite easy.
What kind of birds?
I'm not sure.
Me neither. They're always
Some
beautiful.
Vultures, but they just showed me the way.
Yeah, crazy. But when you saw Paul getting out there in a good way, was he lower than you? Could you like control him?
Much lower. Yeah, he was much lower, and he was just going on the ridge, and he was really brushed by the wind, and I could just make it above the top of the ridge, and that really.
And then connect to that thermal and like.
Yeah.
So great. Like we were talking about the race tactic, about like controlling the whole day, because everybody was a bit uncertain. They were like, we want to play it safe and stuff and control people. And now like the winning move was exactly that. So like, you played it so well. Yeah. How does it feel? How are you now? Was it a surprise? Was it that kind of plan?
I was surprised. It's not my first time I win a race, but I'm really excited. It's always beautiful to win a race, and it's really fun.
Awesome, yeah. Awesome. What do you do afterwards there?
I think I have a go beer afterwards.
You deserve it, totally. Yeah. Okay, have a good one, and thank you so much for your input. Great racing. Good damn it, what a race. I think we were good here.
Two-door. Here.
I'm not that well in a two-door. Ah, sorry. Hi.
Hola, chicos.
Hola. ¿Cómo estás?
Todo bien. Muchas gracias.
¿Contento?
Muy contento después de hoy.
Let's switch to English because that's everything I can make, also for the viewers. But so let's translate that. Like you're very happy. You're really well, let's say happy. How it went. Can you give us a bit more detail? Like how was it feeling? What did you expect of the day, and what came out afterwards?
Yeah, so I said I'm very happy for today. I had a great start. Then I always pushed in front with the leading gaggle all the race. Just one mistake I made at the middle of the race, and I remained a little bit behind. after going out from the mountain.
What was the mistake?
I stayed to thermal in a weak thermal. So
what was the weak thermal today? Was 1 meter or what?
No, I think this one was 1.5, but because in general we had +3, that was a weak thermal for the day. So after that, after we exit the mountain, we had a point in the flats, and then the furthest one to the west, and we just went under the clouds, connecting with every core, and then coming back, it was easy. So I'm very happy. I mean, you could see a lot of pilots in front, like 20, 30 finished immediately. So it was a great race. Thank you.
Yeah, and it was fast. I don't know what the average speed was, but
I didn't check, but
probably like 30 plus something. No, could be possible.
I don't know. I need to check.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really nice. Hey, thank you so much. And what is the next race where will you be racing?
The next race will be the SRS in Tolmin.
Tolmin, which is in
Slovenia.
Slovenia, which is in 1 week after this one, right?
Exactly. But I will go home 4 days for work, and then I will drive towards the competition.
Damn, where's your home exactly?
Bucharest, Romania.
Wow, that's beautiful. All right, yeah. So it's almost on the way. I have no idea.
No. I will fly back, and then it will take me 1 day for driving 1,300 kilometers.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
But this is it, for the happiness of being in the competition. You do this because it's the passion.
Like, how would you describe that happiness? Is it like what helps this happiness to flourish?
Of course, you have the adrenaline because it's a competition, it's a race. You are a competitor, so you have that as well. But also because you are free and do exactly what you like, this gives you the happiness. Like other people, you have, they have fishing, biking, other sports.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
That's beautiful. To see you smile and talking about everything, I love it. Thank you so much, and have a good one, and to see you in the next one, hopefully. Huh?
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Have a good one, you too. I think there were some emotions. I think we should follow up those emotions. Shall we ask what's going on, or maybe later when you have a cold beer? Because that sounded a little bit excited. Was there bad traffic and people not knowing how to fly well and thermal well?
And the worst is this, my friend, so I'm not happy, but it will be okay.
Even better, so we can rant as much. Yeah, let's go with love.
We was on the ridge, super good together, and full bar, and he hit something strong, and he left the bar, and I almost hit him, so I was not so happy.
I get that. I had a similar thing, not that hard, but also like going into the thermal, and it was like he almost hit my harness from the bottom. So
be careful with this kind of things. It's not.
When the conditions are strong, you can't be too close to each other.
No. Or if you are too close to each other, you have to really watch out. And leave the bar like this. It's on the edge.
I hope please point them out to us so we get the apology. Hopefully, all the hitting in the face. We never know. we will get that on camera. No, it's fine. What's the name of him again?
Who? My friend? I just told my friend. I don't say who is it. No, it's Rafi.
Rafi. All right. But our Rafi from Switzerland?
Yeah, our Rafi.
No. No.
He don't even realize it.
So
we're gonna take.
So you didn't check behind him, of course. You don't only have those mirrors. Some of you have, and he didn't know that you are there, but still he almost killed you.
He know. We was together, super close on the ridge. No, but
Rafi.
But then he started to scream on the radio, and
you started or he started?
No, after he started to scream.
He started because he got scared of you then?
No, because he get low, I think, or he do some shit. So, but anyway.
So maybe karma pushed in, and he's now bumped out somewhere.
I think he's already on the go, no?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a blue team. No, it's not a team pilot GTO. It's a red one, right?
No.
Red and Jin. We will keep an eye out and then get you in here to talk to him on live here, if we get him. Okay, thank you so much. Tell me. I'm getting sign language. Okay, shall we get a power bank or shall we cut it here? Production, give us please a little sign how to proceed. I think we have a good insight on everything. We still have a good racing day tomorrow coming in. So weather looks good and really dynamic. The people are hyped. We're running, how low is the battery?
5%. So we are running low. And I think we take this as a wrap for today. We keep up the gossip tomorrow, see how they hugged each other in the end of this little crisis. And yeah, thanks so much, all you guys, for watching, for commenting, for subscribing, please, for liking, for donating to us, the whole channel, or please also just specifically with a name to the pilots who are trying to stream, who are streaming, who are going live, who try to talk with us live with you guys. We're trying every day, we're getting better every day. We're trying to get the views and get the tag up to speed. Giovanni is working his ass off. Marco, Stefan, you're doing an awesome job. Keep it up. We are still working our asses off, so get the support in, share the stream, come in tomorrow again. And what did I miss? Give a big shout out to the organizers of the SRS in Bassano. Let's get this guy on the screen. The organizers, the SRS, the whole community, the race committee. Oh, I'm a bit tired, I'm sorry. And what am I missing? The SD Volo Libero club, who is co-organizing also here. The next SRS will be in Slovenia in 1 week. What do we have today? It's Friday, so it's 1 week and 1 day, and we're back live probably in Slovenia at the SRS, rocking it again with these awesome pilots, with these people, and giving you the best and hottest content ever. Stay tuned, share, subscribe, like, just fucking help us out. We're doing the best we can.